All right, 5:45. Welcome to the live stream.
All right, 5:45.
5:45. Welcome to the Scam Aware 101 weekly live stream, where we share scam awareness tips and show you examples of common scams, help you protect yourself and your loved ones from becoming a victim. We get started in about 4 minutes here. Give everybody a minute to join. If it's your first time joining, hit that thumbs up, give us a like. Help us spread awareness of these scams by hitting that like button, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Our goal here is to spread awareness of scams. We do this live stream every week. Our mission is just to spread awareness. Educate the public about what kind of scams are out there. You'd be surprised how many victims there are, how much money is lost to scams every year. It's a big problem. A lot of people losing money to scams. Whether they're scams that come in through a text message or through an email, through a phone call. All different ways that these scammers reach their victims. Hey Optic, welcome to the live stream. Get started in about 3 minutes here. See some more people joining. Good. Welcome. If your first time joining, welcome to our weekly live stream. We do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. And our goal is to spread awareness of scams, let you know what common scams are circulating right now, what email scams to watch out for, what text message scams to watch out for, phone call scams. They're spreading like crazy, people. Lots of money are being lost. And the scammers, I mean, they're getting more and more convincing too with AI. So it's only going to become more and more convincing to spot these scammers as time progresses. Hey John, welcome to the chat. Get started about 3 minutes here. Lots of good stuff coming up. We're going to start with some red flags that indicate you're dealing with a scammer. Some common red flags to watch out for. And we hear about these red flags from victims all the time, where they were just aware of these one or two of these red flags. It might have been enough to prevent the whole situation. So it's important to be aware of the red flags to watch out for scams. And just join us, get that thumbs up, give us a like, help us spread awareness. You know, right now we pretty much rely on our content to spread awareness and releasing YouTube videos and doing these live streams. So hit that thumbs up, help us spread awareness, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We release videos regularly. A lot of the videos, or a lot of the scams that we're going to be talking about on this live stream, we actually have videos for them already on our YouTube channel. So later on, if you want to share anything we covered, you could probably find a video on our YouTube channel about the specific scam. The red flags we're going to go over in about 2 minutes we get started. But the red flags that we go over, we actually have a video dedicated to those red flags as well. So it's all important information. You share those videos with your loved ones to help spread awareness of the scams and the red flags to be aware of. So thank you for joining. I see a lot of new faces here. Very good, very good. Oh, I actually got 2 coffee mugs full here. All right, get started in 1 minute. We're going to break out some of these red flags. Again, thank you for joining. If you're first time, say hello in the chat. Let us know you're watching. Let us know your experience with scams. If you've ever been scammed, if you have a loved one who's been scammed, which scams are you encountering and seeing on a daily basis? It seems like we all know someone who gets targeted with a scam or who's falling for a scam. Unfortunately, a lot of our parents and grandparents are falling for these scams too. So it's important to be aware of them. This way we can spot those scams and help them. The community has to play a part in stopping these scammers. Get started in about 1 more minute here. Lots of good stuff coming up. We usually live stream for about 3 hours. We cover about 19 or 20 different types of scams. I will show you examples, various examples of all the scams, text message examples, email examples, phone call recordings. All useful knowledge to be aware of to protect yourself. All right, 5:50, so let's get going. If you're just joining us, welcome to the live stream. My name is Jared, I'm your host. We do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time with Scam Aware 101. Our goal here is to spread awareness of these scams. There's many common scams that are circulating and evolving day to day. It's important to be aware of them so you could spot them and protect yourself from becoming a victim. You spot them and protect your loved ones from becoming a victim too. So, if you're first time joining us, please hit that like button. It'll help us spread awareness. That's how we get more people into this live stream and how we get our content shared by the algorithm. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the better our content will do. So please help out, help spread awareness by hitting that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. You can also join our free email list on our scamaware101.com website. Just click join mailing list. And we send reminders about when we're going to be going live and some useful scam awareness tips. We won't abuse the privilege. We won't spam you, I promise. And you can always unsubscribe at any time. So, let's get started. Let's talk about some red flags that you're dealing with a scammer. As we go through these red flags, please let me know in the chat if you've encountered these, if you know a loved one who's encountered these red flags, or someone who didn't realize that these red flags were there and fell for the scam. These are all important red flags to be aware of. We're going to go over 5 of them. There's many more, but we're going to start off with 5 today. And again, we also have a video on our YouTube channel that covers these 5 red flags. So if you want to share this information with a loved one later, you could go find a video on our YouTube channel. You can actually share it with them, and it shows the same red flag slides and information I'm about to show you now. So let's talk about 5 red flags that indicate you're dealing with a scammer. We're going to start with red flag number 1. They direct you to a third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue the conversation. Why do scammers love third-party chat apps? Well, it's easier to communicate with victims in other countries. They also offer more anonymity for the scammer to hide behind. So a lot of times these scammers they'll initiate the conversation through an email or a text message, but once they have a conversation going, they'll ask the victim to continue talking on Telegram or WhatsApp. And there's some other third-party chat apps too, but WhatsApp and Telegram are the 2 big ones. So it should be a red flag that goes off. If you're talking to a stranger and they say, hey, let's continue this in WhatsApp, it should be a red flag. And some scams that specifically use this in their playbook, where it is part of the playbook to redirect their victim to Telegram or WhatsApp. You have romance scams, right? They create fake dating profiles that lure in the new victims. Then they direct their matches to continue talking on WhatsApp. That's the red flag, when they direct you to talk on WhatsApp. Wrong number scams. And we're going to be talking about this scam a little bit more later in the live stream. Those start with a random text message, just probing for new victims. And when someone replies to the number, the scammer will ask them to continue chatting on WhatsApp. And we'll show you some more of that, an example of that scam a little later in the live stream. But the red flag is they ask you to continue talking on WhatsApp. Investment scams. The scammer will direct you to Telegram or WhatsApp, a WhatsApp group, to pump up an investment or appear more legit. That's very common. There's lots of bots in Telegram groups. There's lots of scammers in WhatsApp groups, and they'll make it look like there's a community around this investment or this interest, but it's part of the scam. All right, and the red flag is they direct you to Telegram or WhatsApp. So it's extremely common in these scams. You know, there's just a few scams that is part of the playbook, but it's common in many more. And the fact of the matter is, scammers, it's just easier for them to communicate through chat apps than it is to be sending text messages back and forth, right? Instead, they use third-party chat apps. So big red flag. If you don't know someone, you're just talking to them, you're just meeting them, they're telling you to talk on WhatsApp, be suspicious. That's red flag number 1. Let me know if in chat if you ever had that happen to you. Hit that heart button, give us a thumbs up, let us know you're watching. Let's take a look at red flag number 2. They're dealing with a scammer. This is a big one. They request payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, or depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. These unusual forms of payment are always a big red flag. Why do scammers like their payments to be in things like gift cards and prepaid cards, Bitcoin? Because it's easier to move and transfer the funds quickly. It's also harder for victims to recover the money after it's sent. So that's a big red flag. If someone, especially if they're impersonating a government agency, if they're asking you to send payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, if they mention a Bitcoin ATM, that's a big red flag. Those unusual forms of payments, big red flags. And some scams where that's part of the playbook. IRS and Social Security scams. When scammers impersonate the government, they'll ask for payment in gift cards or cryptocurrency. But that's a red flag. As of right now, government agencies do not accept gift cards or cryptocurrency as payment. Romance scams. Scammers will often request gift cards from their victims who are emotionally attached. They'll request gift cards or they'll ask them to deposit cryptocurrency into their account. But that's all part of the scam. The victim thinks that they're just giving a loved one a gift or helping them out financially, but it's actually a scammer. And once that money's sent by gift cards or sent with cryptocurrency at like Bitcoin, the victim's not getting that money back. So that's a red flag. Bank impersonation scams. There's a common narrative right now where a scammer calls up a victim and they impersonate the bank. They tell the victim that they need to withdraw their money and purchase gift cards or cryptocurrency. That's a red flag. Banks will never ask you to withdraw your money and purchase gift cards or cryptocurrency. They won't do it. All right, so if you get any calls like that, it's big red flags. If you hear any mentions of gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, especially if they tell you to deposit Bitcoin at an ATM, that's a big red flag. And again, all these red flags are things that victims have run into, that victims have experienced, where if they had realized that these are red flags, it could have prevented the whole scenario. Now, unfortunately, these victims are losing a lot of money, because these scammers, they're clearing out bank accounts. Every bank account you have, they're going to try to get into it. They don't just stop with a couple $100 or stop with one bank account. They try to take everything you got. So important to be aware of these red flags. And that's red flag number 2. They're asking for payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Even just the mention of those keywords there should be red flags. Give us a thumbs up, click that heart, say hello in the chat if you're watching. Let us know if you ever encountered these red flags before. I see Teresa in the one chat. We got 2 live streams going, by the way. We got a vertical live stream and a horizontal live stream. So we got 2 different chats going. I'm switching back and forth, but it might take me a minute to reply to everyone. Okay, I'm switching back and forth between the chats. But I see Teresa over here in the widescreen chat. Good to see you, Teresa. Thanks for watching. First time viewer. Oh, good. Glad to have you. We're going to go over a lot of good stuff. Right now we're going over the red flags to be aware of that indicate you're talking to a scammer. But after this, we have a lot of examples coming up of some common scams that are circulating, and text message examples, phone call examples, email examples. So good to see you. Thank you for joining the live stream. Subscribe, check out our videos too a little later. So appreciate you. So let's see, red flag number 3. They're dealing with a scammer. They ask you to provide a code that was sent to your phone by text message. This type of scam you're going to see a lot on marketplace websites like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. There's no reason to ever provide a code to someone that's sending you a code, right? It's most likely it's a scam. What they could be doing, they could be trying to open an account using your phone number. So if you give them that code, you're going to let them do that. They might be trying to log in to the victim's account that's linked to their phone number. And if they provide the code, they let them in. They might be trying to reset the victim's password to gain access to an account. That's what these codes are for. And what the scammer does, they say, oh, I need to send you a code to confirm your phone number. But what they're actually doing is they're trying to get into one of your accounts or create an account. And by giving that code, you're allowing them. And some scams, where this is part of the playbook, are account login attempts, right? They go to log into one of your accounts. Your account is linked with your phone number, so you get that security code. If you give that code to the scammer, you're letting them into your account. Password resets. If they're trying to reset your password to an account, the code is sent to verify that you really want the password changed. If you provide that code back to the scammer, you're letting them change your password and then have access to your account. And then the other big one when it comes to these text codes, red flags, Google Voice scams. All right, when a scammer tries to create a Google Voice account linked to your phone number, it'll send a code to confirm you allow it. If you give this code back to the scammer, you're allowing them to create a Google Voice account attached to your phone number. Then they could call other victims, and it appears like it's coming from you. So scammers love to create Google Voice accounts and use them for further scams. And what they try to do is they try to link them to other people's phones. And all it takes is a code from you to let that happen. So that's red flag number 3. If someone's saying they're going to send a code to your phone, don't trust it. It's a scam. hit that heart, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, help us spread awareness. Hey, Teresa, thank you for subscribing and liking. I appreciate it. Yeah, the more subscribers we get, the more likes we get, the more our content will be shown by the algorithm to new viewers. So, hey, John, welcome to the chat. Good to see you. All right, let's go over red flag number 4. Again, if you've encountered these red flags, hit that like button. Let us know in the chat that you've seen it, that you're aware of it. So red flag number 4, and this is a big one. They ask to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. It's becoming more and more common from these scammers to want to access your PC. And why would they want to get onto your PC? Well, it's a gold mine, right? Once a scammer gets onto your PC, they could steal your logins and passwords. If you have anything saved in Chrome, they'll steal your logins in Chrome. They'll be able to encrypt your files, hold them for ransom, blackmail you with any embarrassing pictures you might have, attempt to access your online banking websites and other financial. It's all on your computer. It's a gold mine to scammers. So unfortunately, what they do now is, as part of their scams, a lot of times they try to connect to your PC. They'll ask to connect to your PC, and they'll do it in a very convincing way. For example, some scams, where that's part of the playbook here, are tech support scams. You'll get these fake virus alerts that tell you to call tech support. You call tech support, it's actually a scammer, and they'll ask to connect to your PC. And a lot of older folks fall for this scam. They'll think that their computer has a virus. They'll call the number, but then the scammer connects to their PC and steals all their financial information, their banking website details. It's pretty bad. Fake order scams. And by the way, we're going to go over all these scams in more detail. I'll show you some examples of them shortly. But fake order scams. The scammer impersonates customer support, helping with an order. And then they ask for access to the victim's PC to help. And that's a red flag. They're asking for access to the PC. And you got the fake fraudulent activity alerts, right, where the scammer will call the victim. They'll impersonate the bank or an agency investigating fraud, and they'll ask for access to the victim's PC to assist. But it's actually a scammer, and once they get onto the PC, they're going to do their scams. So that's red flag number 4. They're asking to connect to your PC to assist or investigate an issue. So watch out for that one. Be aware of that one. Never let a stranger connect to your PC. That's something I always advise people, is that everybody should have their own computer guy, their own computer person. Whether it's the person at their local repair shop, maybe the tech support guy at their work, maybe it's a family member that is good with computers. But everybody should have their own computer person. This way, if something happens, if someone says they need access to your computer, you say no, and you talk to your computer person. Right? There's no reason to let strangers on your PC. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit, especially when we're going over tech support scams. All right, and our last red flag for now, before we get into the good stuff, the examples of the scams. The red flag number 5, the request that you keep the matter confidential or secret. Extremely common. It's common for scammers to ask for confidentiality. They don't want you to discuss the situation with other people, because the more people you talk to, the more likely you'll be told it's a scam. Right? And the scammer doesn't want you to find out it's a scam, so they want you to keep the matter confidential. They'll ask you to keep it secret. They'll give you a story, a reason not to tell anybody. Extremely common. That's a major red flag. And some examples of scams where that's part of the playbook, let's name a few. It's a grandparent scam. Again, we're going to be going over this scam a little later. A grandparent scam is when they call your mother, your grandmother, for example, and they say your grandson, your daughter has been arrested. And they say they need money for the release. Then what the scammer does, they say your relative is embarrassed. So they ask you to keep it secret for now. That's the red flag, is a request for secrecy. Investment scams, they'll say they have an inside tip and not to tell anyone. The scammer will say a price is just for you and not to tell anyone. But that's the red flag, is that they're asking for secrecy. Inheritance scams. I'm going to show you some examples of these too. They'll mail letters impersonating law offices regarding inheritance. The letter always requests confidentiality. And the example I'm going to show you a little later, we have a letter, one of these scam letters that was sent out impersonating a law office, and I'll show you them later. And it actually has 2 requests for confidentiality in it. So that's the red flag, is they're requesting secrecy, confidentiality. And then there's a whole fake fraudulent activity Whereas when the scammer calls up the victim, impersonates the bank or an agency investigating fraud, and they'll say not to tell anybody about this, not to tell anybody because it's an active investigation. They'll say that you could harm the investigation if you don't keep it confidential. But that's a red flag. That's what these scammers do. They build these false narratives into their scams to try and trick victims into staying secret, not telling anybody, keeping it confidential. So it's always a red flag if someone's asking for confidentiality or secrecy. And again, later on in this live stream, as we go through these scam examples, we're going to show you many examples of these red flags as they pop out in the examples. So that was 5 red flags. Again, there's many more. We're going to get a second presentation done with more red flags. But for now, that's 5 red flags to start off with that indicate you're dealing with a scammer. And if you encounter these red flags, you need to stop what you're doing, reanalyze the situation, talk to somebody, do some research. Because these are all common red flags that could indicate you're dealing with a scammer. Hey, see some more people. Hey, Dave, welcome. Good to see you again. Just reading some of your comments here in the chat. Very cool. Hey, Teresa. Yeah, we used ConnectWise Control back when at some places I've worked at. Thanks, Teresa. Appreciate it. Yeah, ConnectWise Control. They had that big breach, like 2 years ago, I think. It has to be over a year at this, but probably like 2 or 3 years ago. They had that big breach, which was wild. A lot of servers got impacted by that. Oh, and that's the other thing about that. When these scammers connect to your PC, they could also install remote software. So now they have access to your PC whenever they want. You don't even have to be on it. So you never want to let a stranger on your PC. But anyway, yeah, so that was 5 red flags. Just to summarize for everybody just joining us real quick, we'll run through those red flags for you. The first one was they direct you to third-party chat app like Telegram or WhatsApp to continue a conversation. Right? Scammers love to hide behind third-party chat apps. So if they're trying to get you to talk on Telegram or WhatsApp, it's a red flag. Second red flag was they're requesting payment in gift cards, prepaid cards, cryptocurrency, depositing cash at a Bitcoin ATM. All unusual forms of payments, but scammers love them because they're harder to recover by the victim. Red flag number 3, they actually provide a code that was sent to your phone via text message. Always a red flag. There's no reason individuals should be sending codes back and forth to verify your info. Watch out for that red flag, especially on a marketplace type website. Then there was red flag number 4, the scammer asking to connect your PC to assist or investigate an issue. Again, only let specific people onto your PC. You shouldn't really trust strangers or random pop-ups. Then red flag number 5 was they request you to keep the matter confidential or secret. Very common, and we're going to be seeing a lot of these examples as we go through the common scams. Cool. So that's 5 red flags. You're dealing with a scammer. Thank you for joining. If you're just joining us, we do this live stream every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Our goal is to spread awareness of scams. Lots of good stuff coming up in this live stream. We usually go for a few hours. Usually about 3 hours we'll go for. And we kick this one off with our 5 red flags that indicate you're dealing with a scammer. And now coming up, we got about 20 different types of scams to discuss on this live stream now. All good ones, all very active ones that are circulating now, important to be aware of. This way you can protect yourself, protect your loved ones from these scams when you come across them. So if you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up, give us a like. We appreciate it. It helps us spread awareness. If you haven't clicked that thumbs up yet, please take a moment. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more YouTube will share our content to new viewers. And ultimately, that's our goal, is to spread awareness of these scams. A lot of the scams we're going to cover tonight, we have videos about these scams on our YouTube channel. So later on, if you want to share some scams we covered with a friend, we have the videos on our channel. We appreciate all the likes and subscribers we could get. And hey, we even have that thanks enabled now too. So if you want to help us out financially, don't feel pressure, no obligation, but the option is there now. You can click that thanks button. And we also have a donate button on our website, scamware101.com. So thank you for joining. We're about ready to jump into some common scam examples here. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, take a moment, join our free email list. It's on scamaware101.com. You just click join mailing list. And with that, let's dive into some common scam examples here and show you what to watch out for these days. We're going to start out with tech support scams. And that's a good scam to start out with, considering the last red flag we talked about was letting people onto your PC, letting these scammers onto your PC. So let's talk about tech support scams. A fake virus alert displays a tech support phone number to call for help. Basically, it's a pop-up, a fake virus, and I'm going to show you some examples of these pop-ups. And the point is to fool the victim into calling a fake tech support number. When victims call, they are connected to a scammer impersonating tech support. The scammer usually requests access to the victim's device, then attempts to steal personal and financial information. Right? So these tech support scams, very common. Most of them start out with a fake pop-up, a fake virus alert pop-up. And these pop-ups, they could come from so many different places. They could come from an ad that was purchased. They come from a website that's been hacked. They come from malware on your PC. But the point of these fake virus alerts is to trick you into calling a phone number. And to show you some examples, we're going to start off with a few generic examples here. And these few examples, you might look at them and think, that's not so convincing. But I'm going to show you some more convincing examples afterwards. And something to keep in mind about these tech support scams, why it's so important to be aware of them, is everybody is vulnerable to these type of scams. Right? Anybody with using the internet. It doesn't matter what device you're on. If you're using a Windows PC, a Mac PC, you could be using your iPhone, your Android phone. It doesn't matter because you could still get a pop-up on that device. And that pop-up tells you to call a phone number for support. That's how the scammer gets you. He tricks you into calling that phone number. I mean, it's especially a tricky scam, too, because the victim will let their guard down because since they're calling the phone number, they're less likely to think, oh, wait, this might be a scam. Because now they're actually calling the number instead of somebody calling them. There's a little clever psychology at play, too. But anyway, let's take a look at some of these pop-ups, just to give you an idea about what tech support scams start out with, what you might be dealing with. Again, these are just some generic examples I'm going to show you first. I'm going to show you 3 generic examples, and I'm going to show you some more convincing examples. But see, so here's a fake virus alert. Big scary red letters. Warning, 5 viruses detected. Call us immediately. And it lists all this scary threats happening, right? System crashing, file deletion, theft of personal data, Wi-Fi loss, infection on your other devices, all scary stuff. And the point is to scare the victim into calling this phone number. If the victim calls that number, they're actually connected to a scammer. There's another example of a generic fake virus alert. Warning, check your computer now. Call this number immediately. And data exposed. It has a list of scary data exposed, right? It says your credit card details, your email passwords, Facebook, private photos. But no, that's true. You're not infected with a virus. It's a trick to get you to call this number. If you call that number, you'll get connected to a scammer. Something important to keep in mind is you could tell that these are fake virus alerts because it has a phone number. If it has a phone number to call, it's fake. Real virus alerts don't tell you to call a number for support. I'll show you one more generic example, and I'll show you some more convincing ones. In this example, you can see the address up top here, and you can see that it's actually just a website pop-up. It's a fake website pop-up that's opening. But to someone that's not very computer literate, big scary letters, warning, in red, your computer may be infected. To remove viruses, call tech support now. But it's a scam. If you call that number, you're connected to a scammer. So don't fall for it. And this one is important for older folks to be aware of. Make your older relatives aware of this one, because they seem to be the ones that they're most susceptible to this one, it seems. That's just what the numbers say. I'm not, talking junk about older folks. It's just numbers say this specific type of scam seems to get to older folks. So it's important that your loved ones are aware of this one. So the last 3 examples I showed you were some generic examples, but here's some more convincing examples of these fake virus alerts that try to trick you into calling a fake tech support line. See, this one impersonates McAfee. And it's much more convincing, right? It has the McAfee logo. It uses their colors. You can see in the background, it's really a fake website pop-up. But again, if someone's not too familiar with that, call McAfee helpline. Your computer is infected with a Trojan. But it's not really a McAfee helpline. It's a number that calls a scam call center. And that's important to recognize as well. You're dealing with call centers full of scammers. Like, they're waiting for people to call these phone numbers. And when people call, the scammers impersonate tech support. They'll impersonate McAfee helpline. This is what they do all day. But you're up against scammers that are in a call center, right, with a script that they know exactly what to say. And this type of scammer, these tech support scammers that I'm showing you examples of, they're known to be ruthless as well. Because what they'll do is they'll ask to connect to your PC to help remove the fake virus. And once they're on your PC, they will try to access every single bank account you have. They will have the victim log into each account. And they'll have a very convincing story. They'll ask the victim to log into each account, and we'll check and make sure that it's safe. And as the victim logs into each account, the scammers take all the money. Here's another example of these fake tech support. This one, or a fake virus alert, as part of a tech support scam. This one impersonates Norton by Symantec. Scary language, threats detected, right? System critically infected. If you're not able to click on this button, immediately contact support, toll free. System hard drive may fail. Do not close the page until the issue is resolved. Right? Super scary, right? What's kind of funny about this pop-up, though, is it's designed for the buttons not to work. So if the victim tries to click the buttons, nothing happens. And then they read this line here that says, if you are not able to click on this button, immediately contact support. So that's all part of the trick, all part of the scam. They're just trying to trick the victims into calling this fake tech support number, which will actually connect them to a scammer. Yeah, and as Teresa points out here, not all pop-ups have English mistakes either. Some sound somewhat convincing. That's true. That's very true. And that actually is happening a lot with all scams across the board now because of AI. Scammers use AI now, and they can generate text that it's got correct capitalization, correct spelling, correct punctuation. They can just use AI to generate it now. You know, even the voice cues that used to be able to rely on. I mean, sometimes you get a random call and maybe it's somebody with an accent, so you're like, I'll try, you hang up. But now they could use AI to generate the voice and everything. So a lot of these little hints that we used to rely on with spelling errors, capitalization, punctuation, things like that, we can't really rely on them anymore. When we see that, that's great. When we see that, it's a red flag and it's helpful, but we're seeing that less and less. So you have to be even more on guard now. But yeah, so this is some examples of these fake virus alerts that are part of a tech support scam. I got a couple more here that are pretty convincing. This one impersonates Windows Defender. It'll have Windows logo there. It uses the colors, same theme. Has a scary warning, right? Contact Windows support. But if you call that number, it's going to be a scammer at a call center. And we got one more example of a fake virus alert targeting Windows users. But this one as well impersonates Windows Defender. Has a Windows logo, Microsoft. And you can see the little capitalization that's off some of these. Like up top where it says Microsoft, it has a capital S in the middle of it. Whereas down here it doesn't. But again, you can't rely on that. In this case, it's great because we see it. We know it's fake because it's got a capital S, all right? But they're not always going to have those little hints and those giveaways. So it's important to be aware of this type of scam and be suspicious. Really, the giveaway of all these is that when you get a virus alert, if it has a phone number to call, it's a scam. Real virus alerts don't have phone numbers to call. And really, that's the big giveaway when it comes to these fake virus alerts and tech support scams. But as I mentioned earlier, well, everybody's vulnerable to this type of scam. It doesn't matter if you're a Windows user or a Mac user, right? So far I showed you some generic versions, some other versions that target Windows, but here's some that target Apple users specifically, right? Here's one where it has the Safari logo. Big scary red letters, virus found. It says your Mac computer has 13 infections. Please call tech support as soon as possible. Has a big scary list on the left-hand side, data at risk, credit card details, email password, Facebook, private photos. This one says your webcam could be accessed remotely. All these scary things that could happen if you don't call this tech support number, right? But that's the scam. They want to scare the victim into reacting quickly, freaking out, and calling a number. Oh my God, I'm affected. Let me call this number. But it's actually a scammer. And again, this one targets Safari users. It's that old myth where Mac, Apple users were more safe than Windows users. I mean, it's not true anymore. Everybody's a target now. Here's another one that targets Apple users. Your Mac OS is infected with viruses and other malicious applications. Viruses must be removed and system damage repaired. Call Apple support. It's got a number there to call, and look, it even has the Apple logo. It says Apple Care. Uses the same color of the website at the time. But if you call that number, you're connected to a call center full of scammers that want to take your money. And here's one more that targets Mac users. Mac OS is infected with spyware and other malicious applications. It's got a different Mac logo there. Please call Apple support. If you call, you end up talking to a scammer that's going to try and take your money, take your life savings, take your retirement, take everything you got. So anyway, those are examples. Excuse me. Those are examples of a bunch of fake virus alerts that usually kick off a tech support scam. And again, what a tech support scam is you get these fake virus alerts. They tell you to call this number for tech support. But if you call, you're actually going to talk to a scammer. And the scammer's going to try to get onto your PC. Lots of victims, stories we hear about these tech support scams. They're extremely common. They're working. You know, the scammers are getting a lot of money from people using this scam. So it's not going to go away anytime soon. It's important to be aware of. So be aware of these fake virus alerts and tech support scams. We have a really good video about these tech support scams on our YouTube channel. And Teresa mentions over here in the chat, shutting down your computer and restarting it will remove the pop-ups, which usually that's true. A lot of times that's true. You know, the pop-ups just come from a website. And if you can't get it off your screen, maybe you're clicking X, it won't go away. You can usually just restart your computer. In fact, in the video we did about these tech support scams, we give you some tips at the end of how to, what to do if you can't get these pop-ups to go away. And one of them is, restart the computer. And one last note: if you're concerned that the virus alert is real, like if you're not sure if it's fake or not, don't trust the number to call, regardless, right? If you insist on having somebody look at it, reach out to your computer guy, and that's the guy we talked about earlier, right? Have that dedicated computer person that deals with your computer. This way, if you were to get a pop-up that says you're infected, there's no reason to call the number, right? Just reach out to your computer guy. Take a picture of the warning, and send it to your computer person, right? Don't call the number. Don't trust strangers on the internet and then phone numbers you've never called before. All right. So anyway, that's our first scam of the day that we're talking about, is tech support scams. Watch out for those. Make sure your loved ones are aware of it. Check out the video on our YouTube channel as well. All those examples we shared are in that video on our YouTube channel. So it's a great video, great video to share with your loved ones. How we all doing out there? Seeing a bunch of viewers, a bunch of new faces. It's awesome. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining. We do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Jared with ScamAware 101. And really, our goal is just to spread awareness of these scams. We release YouTube videos. We do this weekly live stream. And we're just trying to spread awareness, educate the public, help prevent people from becoming a victim. Awareness is key. And a lot of people don't realize that when you get scammed out of your money, a lot of times you're not going to be able to recover that money. The bank likes to talk like your money's insured and safe with them. But unfortunately, when a victim gets scammed into withdrawing their own money and sending it to a scammer, Banks don't cover that. That's not covered. They won't reimburse you for that. In fact, that's not even considered fraud. That's actually considered scamming. It's a completely separate thing than fraud. So unfortunately, the bank likes to make it sound like your money is safe, you're protected from things like this. But if you fall for a scam, a lot of times you're not going to recover that money. So awareness is one of the safest ways to guarantee you're not going to become a victim. Right? Don't if you're aware and you prevent the loss in the first place, you don't have to worry about not being able to recover that loss. This is really the only 100% foolproof way of not losing money is to realize you're being scammed before you send any money. So, but anyway, again, our goal is to spread awareness of this, and you could follow us on YouTube, on all your favorite social media platforms as well. You can follow us on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. We're trying to get our Facebook followers up so we can do our live stream on there too. So we need about 25 more Facebook followers. So if you're on Facebook, please take a moment, go to facebook.com/scamaware101 and hit that follow button. Once we hit 100 followers, we could stream on there. So that's a good goal. And also you can join our free mailing list on scamaware101.com. We won't abuse your email address. We just send reminders about when we're doing our live stream, and we'll send you some useful scam awareness tips from time to time. We won't abuse the privilege, I promise. So take a moment, subscribe to our email list, hit that like button. The more likes and subscribers we get, the more our content gets shared, and the more we can spread awareness. So our next scam we're going to talk about tonight, road toll scams. Let me know in the chat if you've gotten any of these text messages claiming you have a road toll due. Easy Pass, Sun Pass, Fast Track, tolls by mail. I get them all the time, and people report them to me all the time. And this scam started occurring in about the middle of 2024. About the middle of last year, this scam started circulating. And basically what it is scammers impersonate road toll services like Easy Pass, Sun Pass, Fast Track, and claim that an unpaid toll is due. Victims are usually contacted by text message or email containing a link to pay the fake toll. However, the link opens a fake website designed to steal any personal or financial information entered by the victim. There never was an unpaid toll due. This scam is circulating like crazy right now. It's been non-stop since middle of last year. And it keeps evolving. It keeps changing. I'm not even exaggerating when I say every week somebody provides me a different version of this scam. Differently worded. Sometimes it'll include a date to pay the toll by. Sometimes it'll specifically say it's Easy Pass. Other times it won't say. It'll threaten that your license is going to be suspended. There's so many variations of this scam going around right now. And mainly it's a text message scam. And the victim receives a text message saying you have an unpaid toll due. Now let's take a look at some of these. Actually, first, let's take a look at some of these organizations that's been impersonating. The list I'm about to say right now doesn't even cover all of them. When I made this slide with all these logos on it, since then, this scam has started impersonating tons more that aren't even on this list. We've lost track of how many different organizations that this scam claims to be from. But just to give you an idea, we have Sun Pass, Peach Pass, Quick Pass, Good to Go, Easy Pass, North Texas Tollway Authority, Drive Easy Maryland, Fast Track. I think there was Massachusetts, Easy Drive Massachusetts. And there's a bunch more that's impersonating. Basically, if you get a text message that claims to be from any toll authority, assume that it's a scam. Assume that it's a scam and do your due diligence. So we don't know 100% who's running this scam, but all indicators point to a Chinese scam group. A lot of you might remember the undeliverable package scam that was popping up during the holidays a few months ago. And that was determined to be run by one of these Chinese scammer groups. One of these Chinese like triad groups, I think they officially call them. But all signs indicate that they're also behind these road toll scams out there. But there's also indicators that there's multiple groups. Because where one group has success, another group will also try to have success, right? So, but there's definitely groups from China that seem to be behind this one. And there's some signs that it might be multiple groups as well. And we know they have the technology. Later on, we're going to talk about the undeliverable package scam. And we actually found out some details about this Chinese group that was behind it, and also learned about their capabilities. They were sending out over 100,000 scam text messages a day. So their capabilities are pretty high. But yeah, so let's take a look at some of these road toll text messages, though. It'll give you an idea of what you're dealing with. So here's some examples of original versions. Which, by the way, we made a video about this one in the middle of last year when this scam first came out. And it's evolved so much since then. But we also have a video warning about this scam too. But on the examples on the screen, you can see California toll services. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $64.90, please settle your balance of $6.49 at, and that has a link to a fake website. And the earlier versions of the scams used .com, .org, like normal domain extensions, like normal website addresses that would sound convincing. They would work the name into it, like Bay Area Fast Track Toll Services.com, NC Quick Pass Invoice.com, Ohio Turnpike Tolls.org, right? So they would use these convincing sounding websites to trick victims into clicking the link. But here's an example for Ohio Toll Services, Virginia Toll Services, New Jersey Toll Point, Pennsylvania Turnpike, New York Toll Services, Florida Sun Pass. And then the scam started evolving a little. And you could see that the text message is coming from an international phone number. But there's been examples of U.S. phone numbers as well. But in a lot of them, you'll see it's coming from, I think it's a Philippines phone number, +63 maybe. But yes, international phone number that the text message comes from. And you see this one impersonates Easy Drive, Massachusetts. Your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice, and to avoid excessive late fees on your bill, pay your fee by January 22nd, 2025. And this is where you can start seeing the texts evolve. Right now it's using a .top website instead of .com or .org. It has a .top. And you'll notice it also has this little disclaimer at the bottom. Now this is important. This is another red flag. I'm going to include this in my next red flag video. But a lot of these scam text messages, they'll include this little instruction at the end. Please reply, yes, then exit SMS and open to activate link. All right, don't do that. Don't follow the instructions. Don't reply. Don't reply yes. What they're trying to do is, first of all, if you reply yes, it lets the scammer know you have an active phone number. And they're going to target you with more scams. The other thing is, if you reply yes, it's going to activate this link, meaning it's easier to click. So of course the scammer wants you to reply yes. Don't ever reply. Instead report junk and delete. That's what you should do when you get these text messages. But there's so many different versions of this text message coming in right now. So it evolved. That says Easy Drive MA. Take a look at some more examples here. Here's one more different text. Final reminder: toll payment deadline approaching. Your outstanding toll fee is due by March 28th, 2025. Failure to pay may result in suspension of vehicle registration, financial penalties, damage to your credit score. And this was links to a .gy domain extension. But it did come from a U.S. phone number. So the variations, there's so many variations to this unpaid toll text message. There's another one. This one also came from a +63 international phone number. The toll roads notice of toll evasion. You have an unpaid toll bill on your account. To avoid late fees, pay within 12 hours, or the late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. And this one also points to a .top domain. It uses the word SunPass to try and seem convincing in the website, but it's still a fake website. Notice the instruction at the end too. There's the red flag scammer instruction. Please reply, then exit. And unfortunately, I have a folder full of these examples at this point. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. So I'm going to show you just a few more. They even sent out a text message with an attachment, a PDF file attached. And here's what the PDF file says. I'm not going to read it all, but the point is, these scammers are getting creative. They're sending text messages. They're sending attachments instead to the text message. This one says at the bottom, Toll Enforcement Authority. And these are all recent examples that I'm showing you here, like all within the past couple months. And this one says to pay by February 2025. And what happens if you click on one of these links, one of these fake links from an unpaid toll text message, it'll bring you to a website that looks real. Like here's an example of a fake website that was using the Good to Go toll service in Washington. In fact, let me just show you real quick. I'll walk you through it. The victim starts out with the victim getting a text message like this. Washington, my Good to Go toll services. Our records indicate that your vehicle has an unpaid toll invoice. To avoid additional charges of $66, please settle your balance of $667. And it has a link to a fake website. You click that link, the fake website will look pretty legit. It'll have the logo, it'll have the colors. And then if you click pay, it'll take you to another page that steals your credit card details. And now, depending on the fake link, website might impersonate somebody else, might impersonate EasyPass, but the point is to recognize that these scams are going around, and it's important to be aware of them, not to fall for it, not to click on a link, especially this one because it's evolving. Like all the examples I just showed you, you might get a text message that says something completely different. But it's going to say you have a toll due, and it's going to have a link to a fake website. And again, I can't stress how common this scam is right now. It's probably one of the most common scams that are circulating right now. Everybody's been reporting these text messages to me. There's so many different variations, and it's not slowing down. Every week I'm seeing a new version of this scam. So be aware of them. Don't fall for them. Especially if you're traveling for all holidays. We started seeing this pop up like middle of last year, towards the end of last year, and it was right as the holidays were starting up. And then you don't realize it, but to someone that's traveling for the holidays, and then to get a text message like this, it's pretty easy to fall for it. Like, oh well, I did travel up to Florida to visit relatives. Now I got a text message saying I missed a toll. I must have missed a toll. All right, but it's fake. And once the scammer gets their credit card and banking details, they're going to spend it on a lot more. They're going to spend a lot more than $6 or whatever that they claim the toll is. So watch out for that scam. Road toll scams, extremely common right now. If you hear your loved ones talking about them, tell them that you can pretty much guarantee it's a scam. If someone's not sure if it's a scam or not, what they could do is they could go to the official website. Go to the official website of whatever organization is impersonating. Again, official website. Don't go to a fake website. Don't click the link. You go to the official website, and you can check there if you actually had a toll that was due. Or if you have an app, let's say you're already an EasyPass customer, for example, and you have the app on your phone, check the app on your phone. But don't trust anything that comes in a text message. Don't trust the phone number that says to call. Don't trust the link that says to click. Be hyper aware that these unpaid road toll scams are circulating a lot right now. Let me know in the chat if you got those scams. I see a bunch of people in the chat. Say hello. If you haven't clicked that like button yet, please click the thumbs up. Give us a like. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more our content is shown by YouTube. And it really does help spread awareness, which is our goal here. We're just trying to spread awareness of these scams. That's why we do this live stream every week. So we have our YouTube channel that we release videos on. And really, the more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more that helps us spread awareness. So hit that thumbs up. Help us out. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. You can also join our free email list on scamaware101.com. You click join mailing list. Right now, we're going over some common scams. We kicked off this live stream with going over red flags that you're dealing with a scammer. And now we're going through common scams. And we go about 19 or 20 scams on this live stream we go through. So we just finished on scam number 2, which is unpaid road toll scams. Got to watch out for those. And next scam we're going to talk about is wrong number scams. Now, we released a video about this one on our YouTube channel as well. It's actually our most popular video. It went viral. We got over 98,000 views on that video, which is awesome. And that's on our YouTube channel now. It's a wrong number scam. But basically what a wrong number scam is, scammers try to reach new victims by sending text messages to random phone numbers. When someone replies wrong number, the scammer attempts to continue the conversation and build a trust with the victim. As trust is gained, this type of scam evolves into a romance or pig butchering scam that ultimately steals money from the trusting victim. So have you ever wondered why you get so many wrong number text messages? This is why. It's actually a common scam. And it starts off as a wrong number scam, then evolves into something else. But the wrong number scam portion of this, the point is to find new victims through a wrong number narrative. So basically how this works is victims will receive any random text message. It could start off with, "Excuse me, is this Emma?" Or, "Hey Anna, I'm Josie." It can even start out with just, "Hi." That's what's so vulnerable. That's why everybody's so vulnerable to these wrong number text messages. It could start off with just any random text message that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. The whole point is the scammer wants you to reply. Right? The scammer wants you to reply and say, "Wrong number," or "Who is this?" And then they're going to try to continue the conversation. So let's show you some examples of how this conversation might go. The victim gets a random text message. "I'm Margaret. Aren't you Lillian?" "No, I'm Izzy." "I'm really sorry. I think I made a mistake between your number and Lillian's number. I hope I didn't disturb your good day." The person replies back, "That's okay." At this point, the conversation should stop. But because it's a wrong number scam, the scammer's going to keep going. "Thank you for understanding and your patience. You are a kind person. I hope you have a good day today. I'm 36 years old. Would you mind telling me your age?" And this is how these conversations are going to try to progress. They want to learn your age. They want to learn your name. They want to learn your location. And you could tell that it's a wrong number scam because they're trying to continue the conversation. There's no reason to try and continue talking to you once it's established as a wrong number. Here's another example of how the conversation might go. Starts off with a random text message. "Have a cup of coffee together sometime." Victim replies back, "Who is this?" Person replies back, "Well, if this isn't my friend Lauren, I'm Zoe." Right? Person replies back, "You got a wrong number." At that point, conversation should end. But the scammer continues. "I'm sorry, I thought this was Laura's number. I think I dialed the wrong number area code. I hope I'm not bothering you." Right? Victim replies back, "No, you're good. Have a great day." Right? The scammer keeps going. "Thank you for your kindness. I just realized I entered the wrong area code. Where are you from?" And that's what they're always going to ask. They're always going to ask, "Where are you from?" In the last example, they asked your age. And the point is, they want to, once they learn about you, they'll determine what scam to do next. They'll determine if it should be a romance scam or a pig butchering scam. Yeah, I see Leroy in the chat here. He received a "What are you doing?" text yesterday. Yeah. That's how you can start out. They just start with the "How are you doing?" It's an unrecognized number. You see, it's better not to even reply. It's better not to even reply at all, which is a shame, because sometimes it might be a legit wrong number, and you want to be kind and you want to reply to the person, but at the same time, scammers are taking advantage of that. They want you to reply. So unfortunately, if I get a text message and it's a wrong number, I don't even reply. I don't even tell them it's a wrong number. They'll figure it out. You know, the bulk of the time it's going to be a scammer. So I don't even reply. And if you do reply and you see a narrative like this, then you know for sure it's a scammer. Let me show you another example. So this one I encountered, and we just kept the conversation going to use it as an example for this purpose. But we started with a random text message that says hi, and we acted like anybody else would. We reply, "Hi, who is this?" Right, and the scammer says, "I'm Karina. Are you David? And we met last week at Linda's party. I'm sorry, you have the wrong number." Right. They reply back, "Oh my gosh, I checked and found out I entered the wrong area code. I hope this doesn't bother you." Right, we reply back, "That's okay, no problem." At this point, the conversation should stop. But the scammer keeps going. "Thank you very much. You're a very friendly and polite person. I hope we can be friends. Nice to meet you. My name is Karina. What can I call you?" Right? And we reply Pat, because we figure that could be a guy, that could be a girl. We'll mess with the scammer a little bit. We just replied Pat. Right? And then he replied back, "You have a beautiful name. I'm from Malaysia, currently living in Los Angeles. Where do you live?" And at that point, we end the conversation. There's no point to keep on going further. But it gives you an example of they're going to ask you your name. They're going to ask where you live. They're going to ask your age. And then the scam's going to evolve into something else. So don't interact with scammers. It's best not to interact with these text messages. I'll show you one more example here. So sometimes they'll include a picture with the wrong number. And here's an example of another one I received. It says, "Hi, Byron, I'm Jane." And the text message includes a picture of a woman with it. Trying to give people incentive to reply. I know it was a scam. I ignored the text message. And then 4 hours later on the dot, she sends a follow-up message saying, "Have you gotten the pictures I sent?" Right. So there's something to be aware of too about these wrong numbers. A lot of them are bots. This isn't even a real person sending this out initially. A lot of times it's just a bot or AI sending out these text messages at first. And it gathers the information from you, and then a real scammer takes over. But in this example, you could see whatever bot is programmed to do this, first it sends out the initial text message, and 4 hours later, if there's no reply, 4 hours later on the dot, it sends the follow-up, "Have you gotten the pictures I sent?" Right. So be aware that there's bots out there. They're mass sending these text messages. They will include pictures to try and get replies from people. They will include pictures. In the video we released about this scam, about the wrong number scams, there was a lot of comments on the video, and a lot of people said they received the exact same text message, exact same picture. Because remember, these scammers, they're capable of sending out hundreds of thousands of text messages a day, right? So they're just slamming people with these text messages, and it's a numbers game. Eventually, some people are going to reply. And once they reply, they learn more about the victim, and they try to determine which scam to proceed with. So in this case, it would have proceeded with either a romance scam, being like, "Oh, hi, I'm sorry I had the wrong number, but you seem nice," or it would have tried to proceed with a crypto scam, which a lot of times what they do is they say, they'll start the conversation, and then they'll say, "I have an uncle or a relative that invests," and they'll have you sign up for this fake investment site and start depositing money. And that's a pig butchering scam. That's known as a pig butchering scam. But a lot of times they'll start off with, you'll think you're talking to a woman who had the wrong phone number, and they say, "I have stock tips from a relative," and it turns into this whole pig butchering scam to watch out for. So don't be fooled by the friendly wrong number text messages. Don't be fooled by the attractive pictures they might send. It's all part of the scam. Just checking the chat here, seeing what people are saying. I'm seeing some more viewers here. Good to see you all. Your first time joining, thank you for joining our live stream. We do this live stream every week to spread awareness of common scams. we got two different streams going right now. We got the vertical and horizontal, so it's two different chat rooms. So I'm replying to the chat, but I'm switching back and forth. So bear with me as I switch back and forth. Can you help someone who is getting scammed? I mean, the best you could do is point out that they're being scammed. Try to show them some examples that they're being scammed. A lot of times the scammers, they follow scripts. So you could find, well, and by I'm just talking to Maurice in the chat right now. So Maurice says, yeah, Maurice, that's tough, man. So Maurice is saying that, how do you help someone who's getting scammed? She's 80 years old and has dementia. Look, the dementia stuff, the dementia adds a whole nother hurdle to that, because as much as you could, try to teach her and show her, you don't know if she's gonna remember it. I would say notes, lots of notes on her computer, notes on the phone, right? Notes that say, don't make payments without talking to your relative first who helps her, right? People almost took 80K from BTC. She's 80 years old and got Bitcoin. Are you messing with me, Maurice? But still, that's a good question. Even if you are messing with me, that's still a good question, because a lot of older folks, they're vulnerable to these scams. They don't realize what's going on. And look, it's not their fault. The older generation is very trusting, and that's something to be said for them, because they didn't have to deal with scams in their face all their life. But now it's a different time, right? So it's almost like telling a person that's very trustworthy and friendly and nice that, hey, you got to stop being so trustworthy, got to stop being so friendly to strangers, But if she's got dementia, the best thing I say, like notes, maybe some software to limit access to certain things on a computer. It's tricky with that. Yeah. Unfortunately, law enforcement, they're until a crime is actually committed, a lot of times they can't help. But what we have seen, which is, it gives us hope, is there's been these situations where someone is about to be scammed, and there's some videos of this on YouTube. They could find an older woman, for example, is about to be scammed. She actually went to the bank. She's withdrawing the money, and she's at that point. But then police got involved, and the scammer was trying to set up a pickup, like an in-person pickup. So police are able to do a sting at that point. So I have seen it where if it's getting to the point where they're about to literally hand over the money, then police can get involved and set up kind of like a sting with it. But until you're that close to it, it's tricky for police to get involved. Yeah, Maurice, I think when it comes to something like transferring money to strangers or interacting with people on the phone, if she has dementia, you got to have like notes hanging up like right in front of her. You either got to like limit it. This is great. I'm seeing a lot of people mentioning, trying to give tips in the chat, and this is great. This is why I do this live stream. I try to bring people together, and it takes a community here. You know what? There is a piece of software. Let me say, what the hell is it called? Oh, 1 sec. There's a piece of software that was just released. Spare me 1 sec. Here we are. There was a piece of software that was just released. And it was by Kit. What's the scam baiter Kit Bobo Kit? What's his name? But he's one of the best scam baiters out there. And they just released this software, I think like a month ago. It just came out. But see, it's Serif Secure. I don't know if anybody in the chat has seen this one before, but Maurice, you might want to download the free plan here and install it on her computer at least. I mean, if she's using a computer. But what's interesting about this, yeah, Kitbogo, there you go. Thank you, Teresa. What's interesting about this software that he's actually behind it with a couple other people is it blocks the remote connections to the computer. Meaning that a lot of the scammers he encountered, they're using things like AnyDesk, or they're using specific pieces of software to connect to their victims' computers. And what this software does, is it blocks those connections, and it can even be set up to alert a loved one that those connections were made, right? So theoretically, you can install this on that person's computer. Oh, really, Teresa? I thought it was newer. But anyway, the idea is you can install it on the person's computer, and you get notified if there's bad connections being attempted or bad installs being connected. So I think there's some hope with this as far as when it comes to like tech support scams, right? That we talked about earlier, where the scammer connects to the person's PC. Right? This could be helpful with that, because this has potential to block the connection and then alert a loved one when it's happening. But anyway, it's called was it Serif Secure? Let's see. They have the free plan, but then was the let's see, what does the individual plan do for $4 a month? Block known scam websites, new domain alerts, typo protection, command abuse detection, alert family. You should actually, yeah, you would want the individual plan at least. It's $4 a month, but that has the alert family member. So that might be at least like a little bit of a starting point. But yeah, Maurice, if you're still watching, maybe if it's specifically on her computer where she's getting scammed a lot on, this app could probably help with that. But yeah, it's Serif Secure. I've actually been meaning to add a link to this on my website, but it's not there yet. But great question. All right, cool. So that was some wrong number scams that we were talking about. If you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up. Our goal here is to spread awareness. We do this live stream every week, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, let's see. We got Red Turd Gaming. If you're still in the chat here asking a question. So again, we got two different chats going, so I'm just kind of bouncing back and forth. It might take me a minute to answer some chats. But I see Red Turd Gaming asks, how do you set up the bots to mass send messages? Doesn't Meta block this fast enough? No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. And they're actually going to be blocking that less and less now, too. Social media is not safe at all when it comes to getting spammed. All day long, I see messages and comments that link from fake profiles. And the fake profiles are impersonating people like Elon Musk and people have blue check marks. Like they shouldn't be impersonating, being able to get away with that. It's so easy to detect. But the fact is that Meta isn't blocking that. And the thing with WhatsApp, for example, one of the things with WhatsApp is that the messages are encrypted back and forth. And because they're encrypted, Meta can't detect certain keywords inside the conversations. It can't detect certain phrases that scammers might use to block them, which is another reason why the scammers try to get their victims onto an app onto WhatsApp, because they're safer there. There's more anonymity. The conversation's encrypted. It's a lot harder to detect. And as far as the mass messages go, if we're talking about text messages, the scammers, they have the technology. They have the technology. They can send out hundreds of thousands of scam text messages a day. I don't know what software they're using, but whatever they're using, they're able to do it. And they're able to hide their phone number too, meaning that they could show a fake phone number on those messages. So again, it's just more reason why awareness is critical It's important to be aware and understand what these scammers are capable of, and it's important to recognize it before becoming a victim. Which brings us back full circle to wrong number scams. You need to recognize that it's not some random person that messaged you. It's a scammer trying to befriend you and earn your trust. So let's keep on going here. Let's talk about some more types of scams. Great conversation in the chat going. Keep it going, guys. I'm going to jump in and participate as I can, but I'm going to keep going with the stream as well. If you haven't clicked that like button yet, help us out. Hit that like button. Let's get some more people in the live stream. Our goal is to spread awareness. The more likes, the more subscribers we get, the more YouTube shows our content to people. So, and we have our free email list. You can join our free mailing list on scamaware101.com. You click join mailing list. Unsubscribe at any time, and we won't abuse the privilege, I promise. But let's talk about our next type of scam here, arrest warrant scams. So if you do a quick Google search and see what scams are being warned about recently, chances are you're going to find some warnings about arrest warrant scams. And basically what this is a victim is contacted by a scammer impersonating law enforcement. The scammer claims an arrest warrant was issued and fines must be paid to resolve it. The scammer then threatens the victim with arrest if fines aren't paid immediately. And there's lots of warnings about this scam coming out from law enforcement because the scammer is actually impersonating law enforcement, right? A lot of times these scammers, they claim to be from the sheriff's department. And this type of scam could be scary to someone. They're being threatened with arrest. But you just pay right over the phone and you don't have to worry about it, right? So the victim gets scared, they react, and they get scammed out of their money. And what's interesting about this type of scam is it's a good example of when the scammer calls the victim, impersonating the sheriff's department, and this is important to recognize. This is important detail to be aware of. The scammers can manipulate the phone number shown on caller ID, right? So this scammer could be calling from some country across the world, right? And they're calling their victim, they're impersonating the sheriff's office, and the caller ID shows the sheriff's office's phone number on it. And that's important to be aware of because a lot of victims, they didn't realize that you can't trust caller ID. They thought, well, caller ID showed the sheriff's office's number. It must be the sheriff's office. Or in bank scams, they would think, oh, this must be the bank calling me. Caller ID shows the bank's phone number. But that's not true. The scammers show the bank's phone number. That doesn't mean you're talking to the bank. And unfortunately, a lot of victims, they didn't realize that. They thought because of the caller ID showed who they were talking to, that they could trust it. They didn't realize that it could be manipulated by scammers. And that's really important to realize. There's a lot of scams where the reason they were successful was because victims didn't realize that you can't trust the caller ID. They thought the caller ID was a reliable way to verify who you're talking to, but it's not. And it's very important to be aware of. And some of the scams we'll be talking about a little later, or some of the victims' stories that we're going to be reading a little later, they clearly say that the whole reason they trusted it was because the phone number shown on caller ID. Lots of good conversation happened here in the chat. Sorry, it's too much for me to read through it all. I'm going to keep going here, but awesome. Yep, we're talking about the gift cards and getting onto people's PCs. Yep, all true. All good stuff to be aware of. But yeah, these arrest warrant scams, watch out for them. We actually did a video about this scam as well, and we included some clips of some actual announcements, like some clips from media clips of local sheriff's agencies making some announcements about this type of scam. We have the video on our YouTube channel, and a lot of times they'll say an arrest warrant has been issued because you missed jury duty. All right, which leads us to another type of scam known as a jury duty scam. And it's pretty much the same thing. The scammer calls up. They're claiming to be from the sheriff's office. They're claiming you missed jury duty. You got to pay a fee now. Otherwise, they're going to issue a warrant for your arrest. So it's very similar to an arrest warrant scam, jury duty scam. And these scammers are known to provide fake paperwork. They've taken actual court documents and they Photoshop it with your name on it. So it's important to be aware that this scam's going around out there. You know, if you're worried that an arrest warrant is being issued or that it's not a scam, right? What you could do is ask for the name of the organization that issued the warrant, hang up, and call the organization directly, right? Do not engage with the scammer who contacted you. So again, we have a video about that one that shows some examples of the fake paperwork they use. And remember, just because the caller ID shows the sheriff's office phone number or local law enforcement phone number, that doesn't mean that you could trust it. All right, the next one we're going to talk about bank impersonation scams. By the way, if you're just joining us, hit that thumbs up, give us a like. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more exposure our content gets. And really, that's our goal here, is just to spread awareness about these scams. Awareness is key. You know, a lot of these victims, they're never able to recover their money. And if they were just aware of certain red flags, or if they were aware that these types of scams were happening, it might have been enough to prevent it all. And so that's our goal here, is just we try to spread awareness. We release these scam awareness videos on YouTube. We do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Go over about 20 different types of scams, and we share red flags about common scams. So help us out. Click that like button if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really does make a difference and helps. But the next scam we're going to talk about is bank impersonation scams. Very important to be aware of this one. Again, very common scam circulating right now. And because it's a bank impersonation scam, I mean, they're just going right for your bank. They're not even trying to get in there through a side door impersonating someone else. They're just calling you straight up and impersonating the bank. And basically, so scammers impersonate the bank, usually claiming suspicious activity was detected under a victim's account. The caller ID might display the bank's phone number, even though it's a scammer calling. Victims are then tricked into withdrawing and transferring funds to the scammers impersonating their bank. And one of the things about this bank impersonation scam, victims are being attacked from all directions. They're receiving phone calls that impersonate the bank. They're receiving text messages that impersonate the bank. And on the screen here, you can see an example of one of these fake text messages that impersonates TD Bank. Hey, Redter. Hey, well, thanks for joining. Hope to see you in the future. But these bank impersonation scams. So here's an example of a text message. A friend actually provided this text message to me. And right before she received this text message, she got a phone call. And the phone call showed the bank's phone number on the caller ID. Now, she didn't answer the phone call, but it was a scam. And what the scammer did was, first they called. They showed the bank's phone number on the caller ID. And when she didn't answer, they immediately followed up with this text message that you see on the screen right now. So they didn't just stop with a phone call. They did a phone call, and then they sent a text. So there's new persistence that we're seeing with these scammers. And again, one of the key points to remember was the phone call showed the bank's phone number, right? You can't trust the phone number on a caller ID. Very important to be aware of that. But as far as this text message goes, here's some red flags where you can tell that it's actually not from the bank. And we confirmed these red flags with the bank too. But first of all, the phone number that's showing is a real phone number. It's a US phone number. If this text message had been from the bank, it would have been a short code. One of those 5-digit short phone numbers. It wouldn't have been a real phone number. It would have been one of the short 5-digit codes. So that's red flag number one, that this came from an actual phone number and not a short code number. Red flag number two is if this had been a real message from TD Bank, it would have indicated which account had the activity. It would have had something here like the last 4 digits of the account or something that indicated what account this transaction supposedly occurred on. And it doesn't. So that's a red flag. It's missing that information, so that's also a red flag that this isn't really from the bank. And then you can notice some capitalization mistakes in this message. And again, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. But in this case, you can notice that there's capitalization errors. Like the word transaction is capitalized for no reason. The letter N in not is capitalized for no reason. The R in reply is capitalized for no reason. Right, so there's little capitalization errors too. The short code number is when you get a text message, sometimes they'll be from short codes. Like they'll be from a short 5-digit number. Let me see if I can find an example for you. And the thing is, those short codes, they actually cost money to buy. Right? So banks are paying to own those short codes and to send out messages from that short code. And scammers, we don't see that as often with scams because they're not going to pay thousands of dollars to have these special short code numbers. At least now they're not. Let me see if I can find an example of one of these short codes maybe. Probably not, because most of my examples here are all scam examples, which they wouldn't come from the short code. Actually, I got one. I got an example I could show you. Here, let me see. So the unpaid road toll text that we just talked about. Okay. All right, Teresa, let me know if you could see. So basically, these are two examples of the unpaid road toll text message. And this was, I forget which agency released this, Illinois. So Illinois Tollway released this example. They showed the real example to the right, and then they showed a scam example to the left. And in the scam example on the left, you could see that the message came from a phone number, an actual U.S. phone number. But the example on the right, which is the legit message, this is the legit message that Illinois would have sent out. It's only from a 5-digit code, a short 5-digit code. So that's one of the indicators that it could be a scam, is that if it's coming from an actual phone number instead of one of these short digit codes. I don't know if every single tollway authority has short codes or not, but in the case of banks, most are using those short codes. And going back to the indicator that this was a scam, a fake text message, one of those indicators was that it came from an actual phone number instead of a short code one. And TD Bank would only send them from short codes. Yeah. So those are bank impersonation scams. I have a victim story to share with you too about these bank impersonation scams. Let's take a look at this victim's, an article about a victim. And this goes back to why it's so important to realize that the phone numbers on caller ID could be spoofed or manipulated. And in this case, that's what happened to this woman when we hear about her story here. I feel so stupid. This young Connecticut woman had her bank account drained by scammers after answering a trusted Wells Fargo number. I did everything that they said to do, and they literally drained my bank account, she exclaimed. Her trouble began when she saw a familiar phone number on her caller ID. I got a call from a Wells Fargo number saying that I had fraudulent activity on my account and that a random person was being sent money on Zelle, she recalled. They told me to go onto my account and that I needed to secure my Zelle on my end by sending money that would go back to my bank account. So what she's describing here is an extremely common scam and an extremely common narrative that these scammers will use. Because a lot of people wonder, well, how would somebody ever fall for this, right? But they don't realize how convincing these scammers are. So in her case, she gets a phone call. The caller ID shows Wells Fargo. So right off the bat, she's trusting, well, this must really be Wells Fargo, right? And then the person she's talking to on the phone goes into this fake narrative. I mentioned this narrative earlier during the red flags. This is a common narrative. But what they do is the scammer impersonates the bank, or they impersonate an agency investigating, and they tell the victim Your identity's been stolen. Somebody has access to your bank account. Your money is not safe in your bank account. It can make sense to someone that doesn't realize what's going on here. Oh my God, the bank's calling me. They're notifying me that somebody's in my bank account, and they're telling me I need to move my money for it to be safe. A reasonable person could maybe think, okay, And then what happens is that's when a scammer says, okay, so what we need you to do is withdraw your money, and then they go into the instructions, whether it's withdraw your money and purchase gift cards, or withdraw your money and deposit it into a Bitcoin ATM, or withdraw your money and we're going to send a courier to pick it up, right? The method of receiving the money might vary, but the narrative where they convince the victim to withdraw their money is they convince the victim that their money's not safe. We're calling you. We're from the bank. Somebody has access to your account. You need to move your money before they take it, right? None of it's true, but it can be very believable to the victim. In some cases, they'll ask to connect to the victim's computer. And once they're on the victim's computer, they'll say, we need to check all your bank accounts for suspicious activity. Please log into each of your accounts. Right? And as the victim's logging into each of their accounts, the scammers are making a note of what bank account she has, how much money she has, and determining how they're going to trick her into transferring the money over. Yeah, exactly. What monsters is right. That's why these scammers, it's such a big problem now. This isn't a matter of like, oh, I got tricked into spending $100 for something that didn't exist, or oh, I got fooled into investing $100. It's not like that anymore. Now the scammers, they want to get into your bank account. They want to take everything you have. Then they want to find out what other bank accounts you have. Oh, you have a retirement account? Let's check that one out. Oh, you have a crypto account? Let's check that one out. They want to take everything from their victims, which it's ruthless. And in this case, they mentioned Zelle, which is a red flag. When someone's telling you to transfer money with Zelle, especially they're claiming to be like with your bank or company, it's a red flag. Zelle is meant for like if you're going out to dinner with a friend and you're splitting the bill. It's meant to like you send your friend $20 to split the bill or something. That's what Zelle is meant for. If there's a business calling you up and trying to get you to pay with Zelle, or someone impersonating an organization trying to get you to pay with Zelle, it should be a red flag. A legit business, a legit organization, they should be able to accept legit payments, like an actual credit card payment, for example, right? But if they're asking for prepaid cards or Zelle transfers, it's a red flag. And again, just going back to the bank impersonation scam, there's just an example of a story from a victim, right? And you see the red flags. There were the red flags and little details that if she had just been aware of a couple of these details, like she would have realized that you can't trust just because the caller ID has a Wells Fargo number, you can't trust that. Scammers manipulate that. They're taking advantage of that. And you can't trust the phone number. So that little detail might have been enough for her to be more suspicious, right? If she was just aware of that detail. Then there's a red flag where they're asking them to transfer money with Zelle. That's a red flag. If she was aware of that detail, it might have been enough to be like, wait a minute, let me check with my bank, see what's going on here. There's always like little details, little red flags. Yeah, Teresa mentioned that there's been some changes to Zelle recently, which is true. They changed, I'm not sure if it's the same change you're talking about, Teresa, but they recently changed the limits on Zelle transactions. I think it's on a per bank basis. Each bank has different limits now. And that's in place to try and prevent these scammers from at least taking so much, right? Where one bank might have a limit of like $500. At least that stops the scammer from clearing out someone's entire bank account. So there's little changes that are being made. The banks were being sued by I think it was the FTC. Maybe it was either FTC or the Consumer Protection Agency. One of them had an investigation into the banks because of all the fraud and scams that were happening with Zelle, but that investigation was recently dropped. So, which, not getting too political, but a lot of the agencies that were in place to help consumers, they are having a funding cut. A lot of them are closing down, which just means that awareness is even more important. You know, it was hard enough before to be protected from these scammers. Now it's going to be even more hard. So it's just awareness is important. You have to look out for yourself. You know, maybe you could get help afterwards, but as far as looking out right now, it's really coming down to the individual. We have to be aware. We have to make our loved ones aware, and we have to protect ourselves from these types of scams. Awesome. So that's a bank impersonation scam. And all these scams that we're going over, again, they're all current, they're all recent, they're all circulating. All the examples I'm showing you are recent examples. Most of them are less than 6 months old in most cases. How are we all doing out there? Oh, interesting. Cool. Yeah, Teresa said Zelle also discontinued their standalone app for sending and receiving money on April 1st. And users now have to use Zelle through their banks or credit union's mobile app. Interesting. That might be related to now, since each bank has their own limits. Maybe that's why you have to use it through the bank now instead of the Zelle app. But I mean, it's progress. It's something, right? It's better than nothing. We still have a long way to go, but it's better than nothing. Well, I see someone, Grow Smart. What's up, Grow Smart? Welcome to the chat. We got 2 live streams going. We got a vertical one and a widescreen one. So if you don't see anybody in this chat, that's because they're in the other one. But welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining. Yeah, we were talking about some marketplace scams earlier during the red flags. And this ties in to marketplace scams, right? Because when you're purchasing items online from somebody, they might want a payment in Zelle, which, by the way, we're not going to talk about this one, but in more detail. But also, if you're on a marketplace and they're asking for payment first by Zelle, don't send payment first. You don't pay people that you haven't met in person. There's so many scams where pet scams, right? People they'll send money for a pet and then they'll find out the pet didn't even exist. You know, marketplace scams are going to buy something from somebody. They'll send money before meeting the person, right? Like they're all very common scams. So watch out for them, and usually Zelle's involved in a lot of them. Yeah, if you're first time on our live stream, thank you for watching. Hit that like button, help us spread awareness. We do this live stream every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Our goal is to spread awareness. We show you 20 different types of scams and then examples of each, text messages, phone calls, emails. Got a lot of good stuff coming up. Right now we're about 6 scams in, wrapping up scam number 6. We also went over a bunch of red flags too. A lot of the content we're going over today we have separate videos for on our YouTube channel, so subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can share the videos a little later too. And hit that like button if you haven't yet. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more our content is shown on YouTube. You could also join our free email list on scamaware101.com. Hit join mailing list. It's free to join. We won't abuse the privilege. We just send out live stream reminders and some basic scam awareness tips from time to time. So join that free mailing list. Help us out. I see GrowSmart's mentioning rental scams. People moving abroad looking for rental places. Hey, not even, well, I don't know where abroad is for you, but as far as the U.S. goes, here in the U.S., I know there's a lot of rental scams too. You know, that's the thing that's interesting about scams as well. It doesn't matter where in the world. A lot of times you see the same scams happening. Over in the UK, sometimes I'll read some news articles from over in the UK about scams, and they're all the same type of scams that are happening over here in the U.S. These scams truly are, you know, they truly cross all borders. But I need to take, let's see here. But I need to take a quick 5-minute coffee break and refill my ScamAware 101 travel mug, which is available on our YouTube store, our YouTube channel store. So check that out if you want a travel mug. And the point of this mug is, the idea is you or your loved one has this mug sitting on their desk. Big red logo says Scamaware 101. You're about ready to fall for a scam. You're about ready to type your credit card information into a fake website, but then you see your reminder on your desk that says Scamaware 101. You go, that's right, scams. And boom, we prevented a scam. Right? That's the vision. So scoop up a Scamaware 101 coffee mug for yourself and all your loved ones. All right. So I just need 5 minutes. I just got to go refill my coffee cup here. And then we're going to continue some more with a lot more scams. We have a lot more scams coming up here. In fact, the next batch is my favorite batch to go over. We've got some good videos, some good recordings to play for you, some really good stuff. Yep, I see Teresa putting a bunch of info about that. Yep, there we go. Consumer Financial. Yep, that's the one I was talking about. They had that lawsuit again. Yep, but I'm pretty sure that got dropped now. But give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna go fill my coffee cup. I got a lot more good stuff coming next. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. And join the mailing list if you haven't yet. Back in 5 minutes. Thank you. All right. Let's get caught up in the chat here, and then we're going to keep on going. See a lot of new faces. It's great. Yeah, Grow Smart. Scams are everywhere. We usually wrap up the live stream with examples of some scams that come through mail, like actual snail mail scams too. And then you hear about the donation scams, the donation scam headlines sometimes, where someone will be coming out of the supermarket and someone will say they need a donation for a little league team or a donation for someone that's sick, and they'll think that they'll say they only take credit card donations, and the person will say, okay, I'll donate $10 or whatever. They don't realize they get charged like $3,000 by the scammers. So there's in-person scams too. It's a really shame. You can't trust. You have to be suspicious all the time, all the time. I see Teresa confirming some details for us. Yeah, so the FTC and the CFPB both sued. Yep. All right, everybody. Let's get started with the second portion of our live stream here. Just updating the timing here. All right, cool. We're going to the second portion of our live stream here. If you're just joining, thank you for joining. First time, click that thumbs up. Give us a like. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more we can help spread awareness about these scams. And that's our goal here at Scamaware 101. We're building out our website that you see on my screen here. And we're building out a scam knowledge base where we include definitions and the link to videos about certain types of scams. We have about 10 scams listed right now, but we've got about 50 more that we're going to be adding soon. So our goal is to get this knowledge base built out as well with lots of useful information and scam examples. You can also join our free mailing list on scamaware101.com and click Join Mailing List. And if you haven't followed us on social media yet, you can find us on your favorite social media platform. We're on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. We have links to each of those profiles on our website, scamaware101.com. But our username on all those sites is scamaware101. So if you can't find us, we have links right here on the website. All right, we're going to go into some more common scams. Let us know in the chat if you run into these scams. Have you seen any red flags? Etc., etc. So our next scam that we're going to talk about, fake order scams or a fake purchase scam. The thing about this scam is we're being attacked from all angles, right? I'm about to share some examples of text message versions of this scam, phone call versions of this scam, and a victim story about an email version of this scam. So right now, this scam is circulating a lot, and it's circulating through all different methods of communication that are being approached by and targeted by these scammers. And so basically what a fake order scam is, victims receive a fake notification that an order was made under their account. When the victim calls to dispute the fake order, a scammer impersonates customer support and attempts to steal their personal and financial information. And this is actually a lot worse than it sounds. Now, part of the playbook, they'll offer to connect your PC as well. And once they're on your PC, they'll try to get your banking details and all this other personal info. But the idea of a fake order scam is it's almost similar to a tech support scam that we talked about earlier, where the victim is tricked into calling a fake phone number for support. And in this case, the victim receives a fake order notification. They'll get a text message saying an order was placed. or they'll get an email saying an order was placed, or they'll even get a phone call that claims an order was placed. And then the message will say, to dispute this order, press 1, or to dispute this order, call this phone number. There is no order. There was no purchase made. That's all a scam. The purpose is to get the victim to call that phone number. And when the victim calls that phone number to dispute this order, they're connected to a scammer. Just like in the tech support scams, when the victim calls for tech support, they're connected to a scammer. And that brings up just another important reminder and things to remember is that you are up against call centers full of scammers. There are literally call centers full of workers that are trained to scam people all day. They're sitting there answering these calls, and they're trained to impersonate customer support and to assist with these fake orders. But they're actually scammers. So let's take a look at some fake order examples. And before I show you examples, something to keep in mind is that these fake order notifications, they could claim that any product was ordered. They could claim to be from any vendor, right? The examples I'm going to share with you, they claim to be from Walmart, they claim to be from Amazon, right? And the items were things like an iPhone or a PlayStation. But these fake order scams aren't limited to those products and those vendors. They could fill in any vendor's name that they want. They could fill in any product name that they want as part of this scam. So the victim receives a fake order notification for some type of product that impersonates a vendor. But in the examples I'm going to share with you right now, here's a text message version. And this one impersonates Apple, and it claims a purchase was made using your iCloud ID. We have noticed that your Apple iCloud ID was recently used at Apple Store-CA for $143.95, paid by Apple Pay pre-authorization. If not you, talk to an Apple representative. Failing may lead to auto debit and charge will not be reversed. Call, and it has a phone number immediately to cancel this charge. All right, this is a fake order notification. This text message is a scam. The victim receives this text message. They think, oh no, someone used my Apple ID to purchase something. I better call this order to dispute it. I better call this number to dispute the order. If they call that number, they're actually connected to a scammer. And that's how this scam works. They try to trick the victim into disputing an order, and the victim is tricked into calling a phone number that's actually scammers. So this is the text message version of this scam. Multiple people sent this screenshot to me of this text message. So it's currently circulating. It's a very common text message scam happening right now. And it's a fake order scam. You get the text message. It claims that a fake order was placed. So that's a text message version. But I mentioned earlier, we're being attacked from all angles when it comes to this scam. We're being attacked by email. We're also being attacked with phone calls. So I actually have two phone call examples that I'm going to play for you right now. The first example claims that a MacBook Pro was purchased under my Amazon account. And its goal is to get me to press 1 to dispute the charge. But there is no purchase. It's actually a trick to try and get me to connect with a scammer. Here, let's take a listen.
This call is to authorize the payment of $1,499 for the recent order of Apple MacBook Pro on your Amazon account. If you do not authorize this payment, please press 1 to speak to our customer support representative.
Right, so that was a recording of a robocall that's going around. And impersonates Amazon. It claims a MacBook Pro was purchased under my account, and it tells me to press 1 to dispute the charge. But if I press 1, it's going to connect me to a scammer. The scammer is going to impersonate Amazon, and they're going to try to access my PC or steal personal and financial information. Again, this is known as a fake order scam or a fake purchase scam, because there was no purchase. And let's listen to another recording of one of these fake order notification scams. This one claims a PlayStation was purchased from Walmart.
We are trying to contact you concerning an unverified purchase of PlayStation 5 Special Edition bundled with Pulse 3D headset being ordered from your Walmart account for an amount of $859.50. If you did not authorize this transaction or wish to cancel, please press 1 or return our call on same number at your earliest convenience.
So that was an example of a robocall, a second robocall for a fake order notification. It claims that a PlayStation was purchased on my Walmart account, and that says to press 1 to dispute it. But if I press 1, it's going to connect me to a scammer. So again, these phone calls are circulating right now. I actually received both these phone calls. They're circulating right now. Multiple people have reported these calls to me, these same recordings. So be aware that they're trying to trick you into disputing an order that doesn't exist. And really the whole purpose is to connect you to a scammer. All right, so we saw the text message version of this one. We just listened to 2 recordings of robocalls for this one. But what about email? So here's a victim story. And this article's from August 2024. And basically it says a 23-year-old Lincoln woman reported losing $4,100 after falling victim to an identity fraud scam in July. The scam began on July 17th with an email claiming she had purchased an iPhone. The woman called the number provided in the email to dispute the purchase and was told she had multiple open accounts in her name across various states. She was informed someone was using her identity. All right, so let's stop right there. So this is an example of a fake order notification scam. In her case, she received a notification by email, and the email claimed she purchased an iPhone, which she didn't. There was no iPhone purchased. But what happens is she gets that email, she follows the instructions and calls the phone number to dispute the purchase that never happened. Once she calls that number, she's connected to scammers. And then scammers impersonating, I guess Apple, it doesn't say which vendor they impersonated, but then scammers impersonate customer support, and she's told someone stole her identity. It then goes into a familiar narrative. But before we go into that, because it's fascinating to hear the details, how this scam progressed, so we're going to talk about, well, she said shortly, but the important part to recognize here is that this is the email version of a fake order notification. If you get an email, it says you purchased an iPhone and call this number to dispute it, it could be a fake order scam. If you call that number, you'll actually be connected to scammers. And that's what happened in her case. She got an email, said it was for an iPhone, call this number to dispute it, and it's connected to scammers. Now, once she was connected to them, they go into the familiar narrative that I've mentioned a few times during this live stream, where they say, someone stole your identity, they have access to your bank account, we need you to move your money for it to be safe. It seems like multiple different scams lead to that narrative. You know, once they hook the victim, that's the narrative they seem to go into. But let's listen to her words in this article, what happened then. So she calls up to dispute this fake order. She's told someone was using her identity. According to police, scammers then connected the woman to a person posing as a CIA agent who instructed her to withdraw $3,600 from her bank account. The next day, she was directed to use the money to purchase Walmart gift cards and send photos and receipts. Additionally, the woman sent another $500 cash card to the scammers. And this is what they do. They reach out to a victim, they impersonate the bank or a vendor and do a fake order notification like we're discussing now. In this case, the fake order notification was for an iPhone. Once they're connected to the scammer then impersonates an agency or a bank, says her identity's been stolen and she needs to move her money to be safe. And that's how they trick the victim into withdrawing the money and then sending it. But again, according to this victim's story, there's those red flags. And every time we read a victim's story, there's these red flags where if they were aware of them, it would have made a difference. And in this case, I mean, now that you're aware of these fake order notifications, you'll be more suspicious of these notifications if you receive them, right? So that awareness is key. Even if it doesn't click right away, you get one of these fake order notifications, you call up this scammer, right? And the scammer starts telling you, oh, your identity has been stolen, right? Now, maybe you're aware of this narrative now, this whole narrative we keep talking about, where that's how the scammers trick victims into moving their money. They trick them into thinking that someone has access to their account and is going to take their money. And then there's the red flag where the scammers tell her to purchase gift cards, right? And we discussed that on our red flags. when we kicked off this live stream talking about red flags, and payment and gift cards was one of them. So there's always these common details through victim stories where if you were aware of these little red flags or these little details, it might have been enough to avoid it all. And that's why, again, awareness is key. And I commend these victims. I thank them for coming forward and sharing their stories, because a lot of victims, they don't even report their losses, which is sad. They don't report their losses. They're afraid of ridicule. So you never hear their stories, and more people continue to fall for the scam. So when these victims come forward and share their stories, they're doing it to help other people. We could do our part by sharing what they share with us. So that's why we do this live stream, one of the reasons. But anyway, these are all examples of fake order notification scams. And again, we're being targeted by text message, by phone, by email. The scam could be varied, right? It could be for any product from any vendor. The whole point is they want to get the victim to call to dispute it. And a lot of times for a higher priced item, because they want the victim to panic too and react. So a lot of times they'll say it's for an expensive item like an iPhone or a PlayStation. So those are fake order scams, otherwise known as a fake purchase scam. Let me know if you ever encounter these in the chat. Hit that heart. Hit that if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, give us a like. Help us spread awareness. The next scam, grandparent scams. All right, so the next scam we're going to talk about are grandparent scams. And this scam, these scammers are known for being ruthless. They really are. And I take this one personal. Everybody should take this one personal. Your parents, your grandparents, these scammers are messing with their emotions and trying to take all their money in the process. And what a grandparent scam is basically scammers impersonate a distressed relative claiming to be in jail and needing financial help. Victims, usually seniors, act quickly to assist their loved ones. The scammers will often impersonate law enforcement, court personnel, and lawyers to extract even more money from the victim. So these scammers are specifically targeting your grandmother, your mom, your grandmother. They're specifically being targeted, right? So you should be angry about this one. And they're using you as the bait. They're claiming you, the son or the daughter, have been in an accident and have been arrested. And you need help to get out of jail. So they're claiming to be you, which you might think is crazy. How would someone believe that? But I'm going to share a video that actually shows a scammer doing this. In fact, let's watch that video right now. Now, what we're about ready to watch is this scammer is an opener. He's known as an opener. He's the one that reaches out to the grandparent, goes in his whole narrative, tells them what's going on, right? And once he informs the grandparent, has them convinced that they need to pay money, he has closers reach out. Different scammers reach out to collect the money, right? And those closers they'll impersonate law enforcement to take money. Then they'll impersonate court personnel to take money. Then they'll impersonate lawyers to take money. And they'll just take everything they can. They'll continue to impersonate all these different departments to take more and more money from your grandmother, right? But the guy we're going to watch is an opener. He's the one that actually calls and he impersonates the granddaughter. He impersonates the police officer. It's a fascinating video that really gives you a peek inside of what's happening with these grandparent scams. And in this case, this scammer is located in the Dominican Republic. So this scammer that we're about ready to watch is located in the Dominican Republic. And one of the scam baiter guys on YouTube, I think it was Scam Sandwich, I think his name is, he actually hacked into this guy's webcam. And he turned his webcam on and recorded him in the process of doing a grandparent scam. So you actually see this scammer talking to a woman and trying to scam her by impersonating her granddaughter and a police officer. And it's fascinating to watch. So again, these guys are in the Dominican Republic. Let me make sure my volume's up so you can hear it. Assuming the volume's good since nobody complained yet. All right, let's watch this scammer. He's an opener for a grandparent scam. It shows you exactly how they go about contacting victims and going into their narrative. Here we go.
Oh.
Mom, I had a car accident.
Huh?
I had a car accident, Mom.
Is this Linda?
It's me, Linda.
Where are you?
I got a car accident.
What happened?
I'm gonna put the officer on. I got arrested.
You got arrested?
Hi, ma'am.
Yes.
Hi, are you Linda's mom?
Yes.
What I'm gonna need you to do is grab a pen and paper and write down Linda's case number, ma'am. I need you to hurry up, please, ma'am.
Case number?
It's the number 2.
2?
The letter B as in boy. Can you read that back to me?
2 the.
Now, I'm gonna read what's going on, ma'am, okay?
Okay.
Linda was involved in a car accident. It was stated in the police report. She admitted that was her fault. While she was driving, she was using her phone. That's what caused the accident, ma'am, okay?
Oh, man.
The woman that was driving the other vehicle was 7 months pregnant. We had to rush her into the nearby hospital. She might lose her baby.
Oh, really?
Yes. Now, we actually confiscated her cell phone for legal evidence, so she cannot receive or cannot make calls. This is going to be her only last call. Are you with me, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Now, she actually wrote a note down here saying that she didn't want anyone to know about this. Let's honor her wish for right now because it's too much for her right now. That's what she's saying.
Okay.
What I'm going to need you to do, ma'am, is stay by the phone and wait for the lawyer to call, okay?
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye, ma'am.
All right, bye.
So that was an opener for his grandparent scam. He's from the Dominican Republic, and basically one of these scam baiters. Goes by the scam sandwich. He got into that guy's sandwich, scam sandwich got into that guy's webcam and was able to record this video, and it shows us exactly how this scammer opens up a grandparent scam. How he reaches out to the victim, how he goes into the whole narrative, how he impersonates the daughter. The video opens up with him impersonating the daughter crying, "Mom, I've been in an accident," right? And then he immediately switches over and impersonates a police officer. He turns on the police scanner chatter in the background, so it sounds like you hear the police talking in the background. He impersonates a cop, right? And he goes into that whole story about your loved one has been in an accident. She needs help. All right, she's locked up right now and needs money. And a bunch of red flags pop out. Like, notice how he says she's embarrassed and requests it, to keep it secret for now. That's one of the red flags that we talk about, where it's the requests for secrecy. All right, we talked about that red flag earlier. And then he also tells the mother or the grandmother that your daughter's phone has been confiscated. And that's just to discourage her from trying to call her daughter and see if it's true. So he's trying to discourage her from trying to call anybody and talk to anybody. And that's all part of the scam. And eventually he says, "Okay, ma'am, please stand by your phone and we'll be contacting you shortly." That's when closers end up taking over. And they call her back and they impersonate law offices and court personnel and start extracting as much money as they can, from the victim. But this is known as a grandparent scam. And again, this video is amazing. It shows exactly how the script goes, how the openers reach out to people and what they try to do. And in this case, the scam sandwich guy, he was able to warn the victim too. So the woman we just listened on this video, she didn't get anything taken from her. He was able to get a hold of her and warn her, you're dealing with a scammer. So, but yeah, that's a really good example of a grandparent scam. We also have an article about that scam. That specific scam coming out of the Dominican Republic, which, by the way, recently we heard about another scam coming out of Canada, which was interesting. So these scam groups are all over the place. But in this article about the one sticking with the Dominican Republic, because the scammer we just watched was out of the Dominican Republic. I don't know if he was part of this group or not, but basically this tells us about 11 Dominican nationals that were charged in New Jersey federal court They were engaged in a long-running grandparent or family in need of bail scam against hundreds of seniors across the United States, including New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts. They led a network of call centers in Dominican Republic, and they also recruited co-conspirators in the United States, probably to courier the money. As detailed in court filings, members of the conspiracy referred to as openers, and that's who we just watched, and this describes what we just witnessed. The openers called elderly victims in the United States and impersonated the victims' children, grandchildren, or other close relatives. The call centers used technology to make it appear that the calls were coming from inside the United States, right? Because these scammers are capable. They have the capabilities to do this stuff. Typically, the victim was told that their grandchild had been in a car accident, was arrested in connection with an accident, and needed help. Right? Just exactly what we just listened to. Once openers tricked victims into believing their loved ones were in dire trouble, others worked at the call centers known as closers, allegedly impersonating defense attorneys, police officers, or court personnel, and convinced victims to provide thousands of dollars in cash to help their loved ones. The cash was typically retrieved by couriers. Right? So here's a criminal group working out of the Dominican Republic, calling inside the U.S., scamming elderly victims, and they have couriers working for them in the U.S. that actually meet up with the victims and collect the cash. But in this article, this group, they busted 11 of them, 11 Dominican nationals. So I don't know whatever happened to them, but they at least got busted and had court coming. This article, I think, is August, so maybe we could find a follow-up somewhere. Let's see if I can find a follow-up at this point. But anyway, it's a great example of these grandparent scams and how they're run and how they're made believable, right? And you know what? Before we get into the next scam, one more note about grandparent scams. I read in the headlines a few weeks ago, there was actually a version of this grandparent scam where it just targeted parents of college students. I guess the scammers were able to get a list of college students, and they targeted their parents, just saying, and they follow the same narrative. You know, your son or daughter has been in an accident, or she's in jail, or been arrested by campus police, you know, and you need to pay to get them released, right? And it's like a modified version of this grandparent scam that targets parents of college kids. So I thought that was interesting. Also important to be aware of. You got kids in college, I'll be skeptical of those calls. How are we all doing out there? Good to see you. A few more new faces and some usuals. Good to see you, Dave. I think I've already said that, but if not, good to see you again. Welcome to the live stream. If it's your first time here, we do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Goal is to spread awareness of these scams, help you protect yourself and protect your loved ones from becoming a victim. We typically go over about 19 or 20 scams and multiple examples of each. Right now we're on scam number 9, so we're about halfway, almost about halfway there. And help us spread awareness by clicking that thumbs up, giving us a like. If you haven't clicked that thumbs up yet, please do. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. We release YouTube videos, and a lot of the scams that we're covering on this live stream and showing you, we actually have videos about them as well. So if we go over a scam that you think someone specific should know about or find useful knowing about, we probably have a video about that scam that you could share with them on our YouTube channel too. You can join our free email list on scamaware101.com. And you click join mailing list. And we send out reminders of our live streams and some scam awareness tips from time to time. We won't abuse the privilege. It's a way to just keep you updated what we're doing here. And we appreciate all of you, all your likes, all your subscriptions. You can follow us on your favorite social media platform as well. We're on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. So check us out over there. We have the links on our homepage here. We have the links to each, but we're Scamaware 101. across the board on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. All right, the next scam we're going to talk about, undeliverable package scams. This one slowed down a little bit, but it picks up during the holidays every year. So, where are we? Quarter into the year. We still got a little bit of time. It's still circulating, but it's important to be aware of. We're getting slammed by this one during the recent holidays, towards the end of last year and then in the January. But basically, these undeliverable package scams, what they are is victims receive fake notifications about an undeliverable package and are asked to click a link to resolve. The link opens a fake website impersonating UPS, FedEx, or USPS, and any personal or financial details provided by the victim are stolen by the scammers. There never was a package. And this one tends to pick up during the holidays because everybody's sending and receiving packages, so it's less suspicious if they get a notification. But it's important to note that UPS, FedEx, USPS, they won't send notifications like these. They won't send you notifications about packages that are undeliverable. So this one slowed down a little bit, but it is important to be aware of. In fact, there's multiple versions of this that I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you the text message version, which was popular during the holidays, but there's also an email version going around too. So let's take a look at the text messages they might receive. Due to an invalid address, you have a package that needs to be delivered, but has been suspended due to incorrect delivery address. If you do not update your address before 24 hours, your package will be returned to sender. To delivery, because I was misspelling there, to deliver your package, please update your address by click the link below. Right, so in this example, they have all the grammar errors and spelling errors and things like that. The red flags are all over. But again, you can't rely on that. They're getting more and more advanced with AI, and eventually all the grammar and spelling will be correct. But this is an example of the type of undeliverable notification you might receive. Here's another one. The USPS package has arrived at the warehouse and cannot be delivered due to incomplete address information. Please confirm your address within 12 hours. And it has a link to a .top website. Now, if you notice, it has that instruction at the bottom to please reply with yes, then exit and reopen. All right, we've mentioned that before on a lot of these other scam text messages. That's always a red flag there. When a text message asks you to reply yes and reopen, it should be a red flag. It's probably from a scammer. In this example, this one was sent to me. It was a group text message, and they renamed the text message to USPS, maybe to seem more legit. So there's a little clever detail that they went through. But yeah. So they started a group chat called USPS and then told me that I needed to update my delivery info with a fake website. There's a couple more examples of this. In this example, the text message contains an attachment. Right, one says an email attachment. Has a USPS logo. Looks pretty legit, right? But again, they don't send out these text messages, though. You'll never get actual text messages like these from USPS or FedEx. Here's another one. This one has a PDF attached. And it's important to never open attachments in unsolicited text messages, unsolicited emails. In these examples, these attachments just open and have a link. It's a fake website. But worst case, they can have a virus or link to malware that affects your device. Right, so never open attachments that come from unsolicited text messages, unsolicited emails. Never trust them. There's an example of the fake undeliverable package notification. And these ones have files attached. Now, if you follow the links, which you should never do, but if you did, you might get taken to a fake website that looks like this. And see, it has a United States Postal Service. And enter new payment method to resend your package. Redelivery will cost $3. And they'll steal whatever credit card information is put in there. And they'll use it for a lot more than $3. Or here's another example of a website that it might take you to. USPS tracking. And this one, it has a logo, uses the colors. It's pretty legit looking, this one, right? But this one has, we provide shipping info, payment info, and there's no package. This is all fake, but the scammers are going to steal whatever information you enter. There was a Wired article written about these undeliverable package scams. I love this article. It came out in August. And basically, someone's wife fell for this, and she entered her credit card details. And the husband was not happy with the scammers, fooling his wife like that. So his name is Grant Smith, if that's his real name even. But he basically infiltrated the scammers' systems and exposed them to U.S. authorities. And he discovered some very interesting information about this text message scam going around, these undeliverable package scams. And I believe that all the information you found here could easily be applied to those unpaid toll scams that are circulating now. It's probably the same groups doing it. But anyway, so he actually infiltrated the scammers of that undeliverable package scam, or at least one group. And it turned out it's a Chinese triad network, and they were sending out 100,000 scam texts per day. That gives you an idea of the capabilities of these scammers. They were sending out 100,000 scam text messages per day. That gives you an idea of why we get so many, because that's what they're capable of. It says he tracked down the Chinese language group behind the campaign. He hacked into their systems. And he discovered that 438,669 unique credit cards were logged by these scammers. So almost 500,000 unique credit cards. That's a lot of credit cards being entered by victims. It's also very profitable for these scammers, right? 500,000 credit cards. That's why they do it, because it's working. They used over 1,000 different domains, website addresses. Many people entered multiple credit cards. And he says more than 50,000 email addresses were logged, including university email addresses and 20 military or government email domains. Right? So even military people were falling for these undeliverable package scams and entering their credit card details. But anyway, I find this story fascinating. The husband got pissed. He ended up hacking the scammers, and he found out all these details about them. And he also worked with police and banks to help notify victims too. So that was nice of him. But yeah, watch out for these undeliverable package scams. Mainly text message, but I'm going to show you an email version next. But these tend to pick up more during the holidays. They're still going around, but be aware of them, especially as busy times of year approach. So that version of an undeliverable package scam was a text message version. I showed you all the different examples of the text messages you might get. And their whole narrative is that they try to steal your credit card by saying you need to pay for redelivery. But this version is an email version of an undeliverable package scam. It was actually circulating during the holidays, recent holidays, right around Black Friday-ish. But you can see it's an email version, and it came in impersonating FedEx. It has FedEx's logo. It says your package appears to be delayed. Except instead of stealing your details by saying you have to pay for redelivery, they're offering you a free compensation product worth $100, supposedly. All right, here's a FedEx version. We received this email on November 16th. And then we have the UPS version, and you can see we received this email on November 22nd. It's pretty much the same. It has UPS's logo at top instead of FedEx. It says your package appears to be missing. And it's the same deal, though. It offers you a compensation product worth $100. So whoever was running this scam was impersonating multiple delivery services. We had the FedEx one. We had the UPS one. And what's interesting about this scam is it evolves into a fake retail website scam. And what I mean by that is it uses these emails to trick the victim into thinking there was a package that couldn't be delivered, and then it offers them a compensation product instead of asking them to pay for redelivery. But what that compensation product link does, it takes them to a fake retail website. And the fake retail websites are a scam in themselves. So as far as the undeliverable package scam goes, we're going to talk about the fake retail websites next. But as far as the undeliverable package scams go, the takeaways are you're being targeted by text message, you're being targeted by email. Sometimes the narrative says you have to pay for a redelivery fee. Other times the narrative says, we'll give you a free product. Click here for your free product. All right. But the free product offer evolves into a fake retail website scam. And we're going to show you a fake retail website scam next. So fake retail website scams. Scammers create fake websites to sell products that are never delivered. Victims are lured by unbeatable deals and lose money once they pay. These scams often target holiday shoppers or those seeking trending items. So the example we just showed you of the email that directs people to these fake retail websites, that's one way you might end up on a fake retail website. But there's many other ways too. These scammers will purchase ads on social media, like Facebook ads, and it'll direct you to a fake retail website. They'll purchase sponsored listings on Google. So when you're searching for a trending item or a product, a fake retail website might come up as the first results. Sometimes there's ads that are injected into websites, third-party ad providers. And those third-party ad providers might inject a ad for one of these fake retail websites or a product on a fake retail website. So there's many ways you could end up on a fake retail website. And some examples of items and these fake retail websites. On my screen, you can see actual screenshots of the websites the compensation link in a previous scam direct us to. So that in the previous scam, those emails I was showing you that impersonate FedEx, that impersonate UPS, and they say click here for your compensation product, these screenshots are examples of the pages and the products that it was offering. But it's also an example of a fake retail website. And you can see it says there's a Black Friday deal going on. And how they steal your information is that they offer you a product, but they say just pay for shipping. That's the red flag. That's the trick. So in this case, they're saying that you get these wireless headphones that are valued at $175, but they're saying just pay for shipping, $8, $8.95. And that's a red flag. And really, it's you have to be aware of what's too good to be true. And that's how they get you. A lot of times they'll say you could have this item that's worth $100, $200, just pay for shipping. But you're never going to get the item, and they're going to steal your credit card details. Here's another screenshot of a fake retail page. This was also one of the items being offered by that undeliverable package scam earlier. See, it's got the same Black Friday deal across the top, and this one's saying it's a portable heater. Again, valued at $175. But just pay for shipping, $8.69. And they say you can have the item. So it's a too good to be true offer, and they're actually going to steal your details if you enter them. I have a third example here for you. And this one shows earbuds, wireless earbuds. Again, I say they're valued at $176. Just pay for shipping, $8, $9. But you're never going to get the item. They're actually going to steal your information. So how do you protect yourself from these fake retail websites? Well, first of all, be aware of offers that are too good to be true, right? Be suspicious of them, especially about trending items that everybody's trying to get, like these earbuds. But the other thing you want to do is you want to research these website names. And for example, you'll see that this page with these products, it's using multiple website names. Like this first one says technojoyhaven.com. But then this other item says luxuryproductportal.com. These are all just website names purchased for solely to be used by this scam. They own a bunch of different websites, and if one gets taken down, they switch to another. So you want to do your research when it comes to these websites. You want to Google them, do your due diligence, see if anybody else reported these websites, see if they got any good reviews. Having no reviews is just as bad as having bad reviews. When I researched each of these domains when I was being targeted by that scam, they all none of them had any reviews. None of them had any notes from anybody. They were all brand new. And that's a red flag. That means that they were purchased probably for scam purposes. And you can see across the top the address that they were using too. But anyway, these are all examples of fake retail websites. And they offer products for too good to be true offers. Usually one of the red flags is it offers, free, just pay for shipping. A lot of times that's a red flag, especially for an item that's valued at $100, $200. So watch out for these fake retail websites. They become more popular during the holidays, but I mean, they're up and around all year round. How we doing out there? Say hi in the chat. Haven't clicked thumbs up yet. Give us a thumbs up. Let us know you're watching. We're chugging along here. The next example I'm going to show you is a gift card scam. Gift card received. We're going to show you an email version. But basically, victims receive an email notification that they received a gift card. When the victim attempts to activate the gift card by clicking a link, malware is installed on their device or a fake website is opened to steal personal information. And the gift card might come in the form of an employee gift, employee rewards card, or you might get it supposedly from a vendor saying, customer appreciation gift, or free offer, free $50 gift card. It's a very common scam. You need to be suspicious of those offers. And in this case, the example we're showing you here, it says, your company has given you an employee rewards card. Activate your card today. Well, a good rule of thumb is that before you activate any gift card, check and see if it was actually sent to you. Reach out to the person who it supposedly is from. In this case, you would check with your employer. Hey, did you send me this gift card? All right, and they'll say yeah or no, and it's a scam. If it says it's from a family member, before you click any link to activate it, reach out to the family member. Hey, did you send me this gift card? Thanks, I appreciate it. No, you didn't? Okay, it's a scam. So it's good to verify any gift card offers before clicking the links and activating them. And this one, an example on the screen, it says it's from an employer and it's a Venmo gift card. But again, it could be any gift card impersonating anything. So watch out for that one. Very common scam, circulating a lot. How are y'all doing out there? Let me know if you're in the chat. Your first time watching. Just live stream every Thursday. Goal is to spread awareness. Click that like button. Subscribe. More likes we get, more subscribers we get, more our content gets shown. Appreciate it. You can help spread awareness by clicking that like button. So we just went over about 11 common scams along with 5 common red flags to spot scams. All useful information, all important to be aware of. Simply being aware that these scams are out there, that people are impersonating these organizations, these agencies, using these methods, these tactics. They're all ways to be aware of what's going on. All ways to spot these scams and stop them before becoming a victim or before someone you love becomes a victim. So awareness is key. A lot of times victims, they're never able to recover what they lose. So really the only way to, I guess what it comes down to is when it comes to scams, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Right? You spend a little time on awareness and it's worth so much more than the headache you have to deal with after falling for one of these scams, losing the money, the hardship that it causes. Awareness is key. It's the only way to to really limit that. Our goal here at Scamaware 101 is to spread awareness. Not only through our YouTube channel with videos, through our mailing list, which you can join for free on scamaware101.com, but also by building out our website to be a portal with information and examples. We're in the process of building out a scam knowledge base here on our website. And we have a tools and software section, which is pretty useful right now. You basically go to scamaware101.com and click tools and software. And we have a lot of useful links. So I'm just going to take a minute and kind of go through what we have on this page. And again, this is under tools and software on our website, scamaware101.com. But basically, the first 4 links we have on this page are data breach lookup tools. And it's critical that you use these tools to see what information of yours is out there. What information attached to your email address has been leaked. What information attached to your phone number has been leaked. Because one of the biggest problems with scams and being targeted is so much of your data is already out there. These scammers have access to all this information about you. They know the services that you've used. They might have access to your health information. They know your social security number. They know a lot of personal information about the victims already. And that's because of third-party breaches. Websites or services that you've used have been hacked or breached. And then your information is now out there forever. It's sold on the dark web. And it's basically like everybody has a personal record where all their breached information is attached and sold on the dark web. And using that information, scammers will target you with customized scams, right? For example, last year, most of our health information was stolen. You had the United Healthcare Change Healthcare data breach and exposed, I think it's like 2/3 of the country's medical records to these scammers. That means our medications, our diagnoses, what doctors we used, what pharmacies we used, all that information is now leaked because of that data breach. And scammers will use this information to target you. They'll call you and they can impersonate your pharmacy. They can impersonate your doctor, and they'll have all this information that you would think only your doctor would have. And you trust them. You think, okay, this must be really from my doctor's office. But it's part of their scam. And they might use that to get financial information from you, billable information from you, personal information from you, things like that. But the point is, you want to use these 4 tools listed on our tools and software page. These 4 data breach lookup tools. You check your email address, check your phone number on the ones that take your phone number, and it'll tell you what information of yours has been exposed, including passwords, because your passwords have been exposed too. So by using these 4 tools, you can actually see, wait a minute, a password I currently use is already out there. People know what it is. These scammers know what this password is, and you'll know that you need to change it. Or you'll see what other information is out there about you, and you'll be more aware of the scams that are targeting you. So I definitely recommend check out the tools and resources, or the tools and software page on Scamware 101, and use these 4 data breach lookup tools. They're free. A couple of them try to sell you credit monitoring or dark web monitoring afterwards, but the lookups are still free. And just do the checks. See what information is out there about you. It's critical that you be aware of that. And you might be in for a shock. You might be a little surprised about what information is actually publicly out there and available. Scammers know a lot about us, unfortunately. Some other useful links that we have here on our tools and software page. We're actually an affiliate of a couple pieces of software, NordPass and NordVPN. We got approved as an affiliate, so I put a couple links up here that give you some really good deals on these pieces of software. So if you're considering getting a password manager, which is important to have, we have a link here where you can save 56% off on NordPass. You get 3 extra months. It ends up being 2 years of a password manager for like $35, and you end up getting it for like 2 years. So it's a really good deal. So if you're considering using a password manager or you need one, might as well use our link and get a big discount. We get a little cut too. Then we got NordVPN. If you want to use a VPN, it'll protect your identity a little bit better. It hides your IP address, and it's very useful when it comes to hiding your browsing history, things like that. And that's nothing nefarious. It's just a matter of these scammers. if they know what services you use, even if you, for example, use Target.com a lot. Let's say you shop on Target.com a lot, right? Behind the scenes, scammers breach Target and then they get all your information. And there's certain things you could do with use a VPN. You could hide certain private information, like your IP address and things like that might have got exposed in these breaches if you were using a VPN. But anyway, we have a good deal on our website, 72% off. So you could use that link and get nice savings on a VPN if you want to use a VPN service. NordPass, NordVPN, a great piece of software. I use them both. I stand behind them. Otherwise, I wouldn't put them up here. And we also have a link to Malwarebytes Premium, which is a great piece of antivirus software, very well known. I get 25% off of the premium version, which offers real-time protection. So anyway, we have the 3 links up there, and use our links. Save some money, and we get a little bit of cut. Helps support what we're doing here. And then we have some more links here, and we have free software, which is useful as well. Malwarebytes Browser Guard. This is a cool little browser plugin extension that you could put into your Chrome or Firefox, and it blocks ads and trackers. And we've been using it for about a month or 2 now. I like it. It's pretty good. It blocks a lot of ads and lots of trackers. In fact, if you install this free extension, Malware Browser Guard, if you install it on your browser, it's going to block some of my sponsor links up here. So that's pretty good at blocking advertisements. So, and then we have Malwarebytes Free. I mentioned Premium earlier, but Malwarebytes Free is a great piece of software. You can download it, run it on your computer, and it'll tell you if it detects any malware, any viruses. And it's very reliable. I've used it for years, and you could just download it, and you could run on-demand scans. It'll help clean up your PC, especially if you think it's acting strange. The difference between free and premium, that I mentioned earlier, premium is real-time. So you install that, and it has real-time protection. Whereas the free version, you just have to run the scans on demand. But we have a link to both here, and Malwarebytes Free is a good piece of software. We also have a link to Bitdefender. It's a free antivirus. If you don't have antivirus already on your computer, then you might as well go download Bitdefender. And it's just a little bit better than the default antivirus. It has a little bit more protection. It has a little bit more web browsing protection added to it. So it's just a little bit better than the default protection that comes with Windows. So if you don't already have antivirus, there's just a free option out there for you. It's pretty good. And every now and then it tries to get you to buy a premium version. But other than that, it's pretty good. So some links to software, both paid and free. Again, we have them on our tools and software page on our website, scamaware101.com. And a couple other useful resources we have listed on that page. We link to some reverse image lookup tools. They're all free. And these are good for romance scams, for example, to check if the person you're talking with, if their pictures are found anywhere else on the internet, right? Basically, there's TinEye reverse image search. Then Bing has an image search. Google has image search. So we put links to all 3 here. And basically, you open them up, you select the image of the person you're talking to, submit it, and it comes back and it tells you if it finds those image used anywhere else, meaning that the person you're speaking with, it may not be the person actually in that picture. They may have stole that picture from somewhere else. So that's where these reverse image lookup tools come in handy. So check those out, especially if you're on a dating website and talking to somebody. I have a couple more links here, just website safety lookup tools. And we mentioned those fake retail websites earlier. These tools could come in handy if you're looking into a website. And the first one we have is Norton Safe Web. And it's just a website. You go to a website, pop in a web address, and it'll tell you if it's got any ratings or reviews. We have Google Safe Browsing, which, you pop in a website address. It'll tell you if it's unsafe or dangerous to visit. And then we have Virus Total, where you pop in the website address, and it'll tell you if any malware is detected or there's any breaches reported, which are some useful tools, just checking out the website safety and their reputation. And then we close out that page with a couple scam tracker maps. We have one from the BBB, and we have one from AARP. And those are useful tools just to see what reports about scams are coming in and to track which scams are going around. We actually go into this later on in the live stream. What we'll do is we'll close out with opening this scam tracking map, and we'll go over some of the recent scams that are being reported. So that's a fun little way to wrap up the live stream in a little bit. We're not there yet, so we'll come back to this later. But again, these are all on our website, scamaware101.com. This is the tools and software page. This is where I have all these useful tools and links. And again, if you do anything, check out these data breach lookup tools. The 4 links we have here, pop in your email address, your phone number. They're safe. They're legit sources. But the information they come back with it might shock you. So important to check that out and be aware. So that's all on scamaware101.com. And while you're on the website, might as well join our free mailing list by clicking Join Mailing List. So how we doing out there? Still with us, everybody? Got some more common scams we're going to go over. Hit that heart, hit that thumbs up, give us a like if you haven't yet. The more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more YouTube will show our content and spread our videos. And ultimately, that's our goal, is spread awareness of these scams, and through these videos and through these live streams. That's one of the main ways we do it. So we do this live stream weekly every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Usually go for about 3 hours, a little bit more. We're actually coming up on 3 hours now, but we're going to be going for a little bit more probably. We go until I can't go no more. But we have a lot more good scams coming up here. We're going to talk about some Social Security scams, some IRS scams. We're even going to spend a little time on snail mail scams, because those are still pretty popular, believe it or not. You got to watch out for scams arriving in your mailbox, your physical mailbox. They're still out there. They're still using them. So we're going over some more useful scams, and it looks like just gonna try and get an idea how long we're gonna go tonight here. We're probably gonna go until like 9:30ish. It'll be like a 4-hour live stream, so we're getting there. Got another hour or so left. Some more good stuff coming up here. In fact, I think it might be a good time to refill this coffee cup with 1 more hour left. So, all right, so let me do that. We're going to take a quick 5-minute. It's a good time to take a quick 5-minute, because the West Coast should probably be checking in soon too. Usually there's a little bump around 8:30, 9 o'clock, because the West Coast starts joining. West Side. All right, everybody, gonna take a quick 5-minute coffee break here, refill my cup. And then we're gonna go non-stop for the last hour of our live stream here. Let's see if we get more people. Let's see if we can get these rooms filled up. Hit that thumbs up. Participate in the chat. Hit the heart. See if we can spread awareness of this live stream. Get some more people in for our last hour here. Got some good stuff coming up in our last hour. I'm going to go fill up my coffee cup, and then we're going to keep on going. All right, cool. We're getting to the last hour here. Got 8 more scams to go over this evening. And the last 4 that we're going to do is going to be snail mail scams, which are actually examples of physical letters that people are receiving, because we're still being targeted through regular mail as well. So that's always a fun one to go over last. But in the meantime, we got 4 more scams to go over. And these are very common right now, especially. We got Social Security scams, IRS and tax-related scams. Also some discount scams that are circulating right now. So let's get started with Social Security scams. Social Security impersonation scams. Basically, fraudsters impersonate Social Security officials, claiming issues with the victim's number or benefits. They threaten action unless immediate payment or information is provided. Right, so that's one version of a Social Security impersonation scam. That's very common. They claim, they reach out to the victim by phone usually, and they claim that there's an issue with their number or benefits, or that a payment needs to be made. That's a very common scam. It's been going around for a while. We've been warned about that one. And again, that one typically is by phone. They call up, they say they're from Social Security. But we also have another example of a Social Security scam here. And this one was brand new, circulating. It was reported to me a couple weeks ago. And basically, this one impersonates Social Security, and it's an email scam. And this scam claims that it's a report from Social Security to download. The version I'm showing you on my screen right now is actually the screenshot from a phone number. So this is how the email will look. I'm sorry, a screenshot from a cell phone. And this is how the email will look on a phone. It's a little bit harder to detect as a scam, right? Because the from email address is actually hidden. You know, the person needs to click on the from address to see if it's actually from SSA.gov. And also this link here looks like it's to SSA.gov, but it's not. It's actually a fake link that points somewhere else. On the computer version of this, you could see that. On the computer version, you could see the email address is not SSA.gov. It's actually some foreign email address, .co.ke. And when you hover over to SSA.gov link, you could see that it doesn't really point to SSA.gov. Again, this email, it was reported to me, February 6th it came in, so it was reported to me a couple months ago. 2 months ago, about less. So this one's currently circulating. And the email, my email has this little note at the end. This file works on computers only. So if you click that link, it's probably going to download malware onto your computer, the virus or malware. And they want you to click that link on a computer. Yeah. But this is a good example of fake Social Security scam email that's currently circulating. So you need to watch out for these Social Security impersonation scams that when someone calls you and claims to be from Social Security, and you have to watch out for these emails that appear to be from Social Security. And Social Security actually has warned us about these scams for a while. Even on their physical letters that go out, the envelope has a big stamp that says, like, beware of scams, watch out for scams. So they were definitely being targeted by this a lot and being impersonated. So anyway, watch out for these Social Security scams. They're common, they're circulating, and especially as the media or headlines start focusing on Social Security, you know, scammers will use that momentum as well. You know, if there's changes being made to Social Security, you're going to see more Social Security scams that come out, because scammers are going to try to take advantage of changes and confusion over Social Security. I see some more viewers. Welcome, welcome. Hit that thumbs up. Give us a like. Help us spread awareness. The next scam we're going to go over are the next two scams, actually, are tax and IRS related scams. And we see these pick up more during tax season, and they're kind of still circulating right now. But basically, tax and IRS impersonation scams. Fraudsters impersonate tax authorities, claiming the victim owes taxes and must pay immediately to avoid penalties or arrest. They often demand payments by untraceable methods. Look, so tax and IRS impersonation scams, where they claim there's an issue or that you need to pay immediately to pay taxes or avoid penalties. That's one type of IRS impersonation scam. And you do have to watch out for phone calls claiming to be from the IRS or fake emails claiming to be from the IRS. But another scam that's currently circulating right now that we were warned about specifically by the IRS are these fake text messages. And this fake text message, it impersonates the IRS, and it says you are eligible to receive a $1,400 economic impact payment. Please provide your accurate personal information. We will deposit the amount into your bank account or mail a paper check within 1 to 2 business days. And then it has a link to supposedly provide your information. But the link goes to a fake website. And this text message, specifically a $1,400 economic impact payment, this specific text message we're being warned about specifically by the IRS. This one's currently circulating. People are receiving it. And it's not real. There is no $1,400 economic impact payment. And if there was, the IRS wouldn't be text messaging people, by the way. So it's important to be aware of this scam, especially during tax season. And again, this one's circulating right now. And notice the instruction at the bottom. There's that instruction again that we mentioned earlier. The please reply with yes, then exit the text message. That's a red flag that indicates it's a scam as well. So watch out for these IRS impersonation phone calls, IRS impersonation text messages, especially offering a $1,400 economic impact payment. The other type of scam we need to watch out for, and I've been getting them all the time, are fake tax forgiveness scams. Right? You get these phone calls from tax forgiveness services. They claim they owe back taxes and that they can help you get them removed. These always pick up during tax season. I'm going to play one recording. Here's a recording of one of these fake tax forgiveness scams. That if you get phone calls like these, don't call back. Don't interact. These are scams.
Hi, this is Lindsay Carter from the Activation Department. Give me a call back at 833-850-2527. Our records indicate you have some back taxes owed. You're now eligible to apply for them to be forgiven with the Zero Tax Balance Program. Any back owed taxes can be enrolled to be forgiven through this program. But we do need to sign up this week. Just give me a call so we can start the process. It's really quick. And I'll keep your file open here. So my number is 833-850-2527. If you've already resolved this, call back and press 2 to be removed. Can't wait to speak with you. 2.
So that's a recording going around that's a robocall going around with these fake tax forgiveness scams. And there's all different versions of this circulating. And right off the bat, they're telling the potential victim that they have back taxes owed. This phone call is being received whether you owe back taxes or not. They're just trying to scare the victims into calling back. Someone that I know who received this phone call, and multiple people showed me this phone call. They all received them. One of the things he said was he filed his taxes, and he got one of these calls right after, and he thought, "Oh man, I must have messed up my taxes," right? And that's one of the things that these scams are trying to accomplish. They're trying to cause confusion and scare people into reacting. But you need to pause, think about it, and then you realize, wait a minute, this is a scam. So watch out for these tax forgiveness scams. Look, talk to your accountant. If you think that there's some kind of tax forgiveness you get, just go reach out to a trusted accountant. Don't trust these random robo calls, because they're scams and you can't really trust them. Let me know in the chat if you received any of these scams or these text messages during tax season. I mean, I know a lot of people that got them. I'm still getting all these fake tax forgiveness calls. And another type of scam that I'm just going to share with you is a fake discount scam. It's a fake phone call about a discount. This is more recent. I got to come up with more notes for you about it. But I'm going to play a recording of a fake phone call I received the other day, and they're claiming to be from Comcast and a discount. And it's clearly a scam. And I don't have Comcast, so. But here, let's take a listen. And, you should be aware of this one because maybe you do have Comcast and this would directly impact you.
Hello. This voicemail is from Comcast Xfinity. Your current 50% discount on your monthly bill will expire by the end of the day. To maintain your reduced rate, call the number on your caller ID immediately. This is your final reminder to act. Call back now. Thank you.
So many red flags about that recording. First of all, it says expiring today, right? So it's trying to get the potential victim to act urgently. Second of all, it's saying like your bill's going to go up 50% or 100%, right? So like it's trying to scare you into calling back immediately. And then the big red flag was it says call number displayed. So whenever you hear that on a recording, to call the number displayed or call the number on your caller ID, that's a big red flag. They can't even leave a real phone number for you to call, right? So that's an example of some kind of fake discount phone call you might get. I'm sure thousands of people are getting that same phone call, and some of them have Comcast. So it crosses their mind, oh, wait a minute, is my Comcast bill going to go up? I better call. They call, and then they get their financial or personal details stolen. So you need to watch out for those discount scams. Again, those robocalls are circulating and targeting everybody. All right, we got 4 more scams left that we're going to go over. But first, how's everybody doing? Say what's up in the chat. We got some people from the West Coast joining us now. I see the viewer count going up. So I know the West Coast just got out of work. I hope we have some viewers join us now. We've been going for about 3 hours. We started at 5:45, so yeah, we're about 3 hours in. And we're just going over the last few batches of scams we got here. We got another batch of 4 to go over, and these are all snail mail scams that we're going to talk about. These are scams that are still circulating through the post office, arriving in people's mailboxes. They're very real, very current, very active, and they're circulating. They're important to be aware of these scams too. So we got those coming up. And then we're going to go look at the scam tracking map on the AARP website, which is a fun little tool that will see what scams are being reported, where they're being reported from, and which ones are trending and common right now. We could talk about some that we haven't included already in this live stream. So that's always a fun little way to kind of end the live stream. Oh, cool. I see Frank in the chat. What's up, Frank? Welcome. What is my motivation for doing this? Just to spread awareness. I got so tired of hearing about people, the same scams, tricking people for years. It's not right that these scams should get away with that, especially some of these scams that target grandparents and older folks, and they'll target the most vulnerable. It's just a terrible thing to do ethically, and it's become so widespread. Everybody knows somebody, whether it's friends or family members, and even if you don't know someone directly, I mean, most of us know someone who does know someone directly, right? So it's it's a big problem, and they're just trying to put something good out there, spread awareness of it. And that's why I started out with the YouTube videos. Even if I don't end up not doing this at some point, the YouTube videos will still be there for people. They'll still be there to spread and hopefully make a little bit of an impact. And I saw it in the cybersecurity industry for a while. There's a lot of resources out there for businesses, and companies, and they do a lot of employee training and things like that. But there's not really much out there for individuals. Like people that are targeted with grandparent scams, for example. Yeah. parents, grandparents. Inheritance scams. Like, there's so many types of scams that we go over on this live stream where it's like they don't really target businesses. A lot of them target individuals, and that's where there's a gap. So my motivation for that is I wanted to put something out there for individuals to help spread awareness of these scams that are targeting them. They matter too. So I don't know if you're still in the chat, but thanks for asking that question. That's my answer. All right, but let's go into this last batch of scams. This one's a fun one because it's all these scams we're about to go over. These last four are snail mail scams. They spread through the postal service. They're actual physical letters, pieces of paper that are still being delivered to people, whether it's a postcard or a letter. But the first one we're going to talk about are these free gift postcard scams. Bear with me. I'm just finding the example here. I should have two slides. All right, so we got the sec. There we are. Hold on, I'm just getting my file organized now so I don't open the wrong one next time. All right, cool. All right, so next scam we're going to talk about are free gift postcard scams. And in this example, basically, you get a postcard in the mailbox offering you a free gift. Sometimes they'll say, scan a QR code. Other times they'll say, go here to activate it. But basically, victims receive a physical postcard in the mail offering a free gift. When the victim attempts to activate the gift card by scanning a QR code, malware is installed in their device, or a fake website is opened to steal personal information. An example of a postcard like this, offering a free gift, here it is, free wireless Bluetooth earbuds. Now, if you've been with us for a little bit, we talked about those fake retail websites that use products. They offer deals on products that are too good to be true. That's the same deal with these postcard scams. In fact, they both examples show wireless Bluetooth earbuds, right? We had the same example for a fake retail website that was offering earbuds. Now, on this postcard example, here we are, wireless Bluetooth earbuds. But it's a scam. So you need to be suspicious of free offers that come in your mailbox offering free products. And this actually shows us an example of another type of scam, these QR code scams, which are important to be aware of as well now. Because QR codes are everywhere now. They're on restaurant menus, on flyers, on postcards like this, just to name a few. And they've become mainstream. But what QR codes are is they just direct you to a website. It's the same thing as clicking on a link. So just like you need to be suspicious of clicking on links, you need to be suspicious of QR codes. So this is a good example of not only a snail mail scam, but a QR code scam. So be suspicious of free offers that are too good to be true. Just because they come in your mailbox, that doesn't make them any more legit. And be suspicious of QR codes. Don't scam QR codes randomly that land in your mailbox. So that's an example of a fake free gift postcard scam, QR code scam. And the first example of our snail mail scams that we're going into. We got 3 more snail mail scams to show you. Because they're still targeting us. I'm telling you, they're still targeting us. All these scams are going to be recent. So here we have the inheritance scam. Victims are contacted with claims of a large inheritance from an unknown relative. But to claim it, they must pay fees or provide personal details. These scams exploit curiosity and greed to steal money and identity information. So let's take a look at an example of this inheritance scam. Here's an actual letter. You see it's dated November 29th, 2024. So it's only a couple months old. The scam is current. The scam is active. It's circulating. Right? And in this letter, you can see it's got fake letterhead, fake logo. It claims to be some law office out of Canada. And it claims to be from someone from a law office in Canada. There is an unclaimed permanent life insurance policy held by our deceased client. That's what it claims. The amount is $10,800,000. And it says that their late client, their deceased client, shares the same last name as you, died 4 years ago, and because of the same last name, you're entitled to the inheritance of $10 million. That's the narrative. That's what this letter says. Someone with the same last name as you. And what's important to note is the letter's addressed to someone with the same last name that they edited to say was their client. So the same letter is going out to multiple people, but they just changed the name to match, the last name to match in each letter that goes out. And basically, the letter goes on to claim they're asking to partner with you, and they'll claim the policy, handle all the legalities and everything. And it closes out with, this is 100% risk-free. I do have all necessary documentation to expedite the process in a highly professional and confidential manner. See, so confidential, that's the red flag. We mentioned that earlier. Requests for confidentiality are red flags. I will provide all relevant documents to substantiate your claim as a beneficiary. And it says this claim requires a high level of confidentiality, and it may take up to 30 business days. Right, but see, it asks for confidentiality again. So that's two red flags. They're mentioning the confidentiality. But this is a real example of a letter that impersonates a law office and it's claiming you have a $10 million inheritance. And how this works is eventually, if you go along with this, what they're going to do is they're going to ask you to pay fees and taxes up front. And those fees and taxes will be a lot based on $10 million, supposedly, right? So what they'll do is they'll steal that money from the victim, and then you'll never get an inheritance. So the idea is these scammers are going to steal those supposed fees and taxes that you have to pay first. And this letter's circulating, so watch out for this letter and be aware of it. We did a quick Google of some of the text in this letter and found plenty of people reporting the exact same letter. It's just the names are swapped out. And again, this is fairly recent. This is only this end of November this is dated, so this is only a few months old. So stay aware. How are we doing out there? Say hello in the chat. Let me know if you're watching. Hit that reaction button. Give us a thumbs up or a heart. Looks like things are starting to wrap up a little bit. All right, the next scam we're going to go over, fake renewal bill. Again, it's a snail mail scam. We're going over scams that are still circulating by mail, because surprisingly, it's not just email and text messages that they're targeting us. We're also being targeted through regular mail as well, through postal service. So let's take a look at a fake renewal scam. And what's interesting is all these snail mail scams that we're going over, even though we're seeing the physical examples, there's all email versions of these scams. Every scam we're going over right now, there's an email version of it. Free gift card scams. Sure, we actually went over the email version of that one. Right? That fake Venmo gift card. Inheritance scams? Absolutely. People get inheritance email scams all the time. Impersonating to be from a law office. Running the same narrative that letter we just looked at. We're going to talk about fake renewal scams. Subscription scams. We get those emails all the time. Those email versions that impersonate Netflix and say there's a billing issue or your renewal needs to be updated, right? We see those email versions of scams all the time, but they're still circulating in regular mail. So for example, for these fake renewal scams, victims are notified about renewals for subscriptions they don't have and prompted to provide payment information to cancel. That could be one of them. But let's take a look at this snail mail version here. And this is actually an example that could apply to businesses as well. But they make it look like there's some kind of renewal due for marketing services for your website. You can see this one's dated June 2024, so it's not even a year old yet. So this one's currently circulating. But it's made to look like it's some kind of renewal. They don't use the word renewal. I think that the letter is worded in a way where it's like they get away with it legally probably. But they make it look like it's a renewal, right? And that's the intention. I mean, the intent is clearly for people to think, okay, I need to renew this. They see a return by date like July 26th. Return by date below to avoid offer expiration, right? Keyword there is offer. Like that's how they avoid the legality, I guess. But they make it seem like it's renewal. And that's the whole thing I'm trying to get across here, is that these fake renewal scams, whether it's an email that looks like there's a renewal coming up you need to pay for, or a physical letter that makes it look like there's a renewal coming up that you need to pay for. You need to be aware of that. Business especially fall for this one because they'll just receive a bill for $289, and for a lot of businesses they're like, oh, whatever, they just think it's some kind of annual payment and pay it. But for individuals, though, they get a bill for $289. What are you guys billing me for? But anyway, so be aware of these fake renewal letters, whether it's this company or other well-known companies. They're still circulating. And the last scam example we're going to do. This one's a creative one. It's a secret shopper scam. So you receive this letter. Congratulations for your achievement. The present package contains your first secret survey assignment. Along with this letter is the funding for this assignment and survey. So have fun making money and help us improve customer service. Take note, included in this package is the checklist with further required steps and the payment sent out for your highly appreciated service. The check included in this letter represents $1,987, which covers the assignment, bills, evaluation costs, and your survey service commission payment of $400. So what they're saying here is you receive this letter and it says you've been approved as a secret shopper, secret survey shopper, and included with this letter is a check. It looks like it's a check and it has $1,900 on it. And $1,900 includes $400 for you, and the rest of it is to buy 3 gift cards from these stores. So that's the narrative. And they include a check that looks like it's real. But here's the catch. We have a hold on the check to prevent unauthorized cashing. You are to confirm that you received the package with your full name, shopper number, estimated time to complete your evaluation, so we take the hold off the check for an easy deposit. Right. So what they're doing is they're trying to get you to purchase 3 gift cards for $500 each, and then they'll approve the check, supposedly, for you to get refund plus your payment. But the thing is, they're never going to, it's a fake check. It's never going to get approved. It's never going to work. There's not going to be any funds there. And the scam is they trick you into buying 3 gift cards, spending $1,500, all right, and then, boom, the check that you're supposed to use to reimburse yourself doesn't work. And it's too late. You spent $1,500, and the scammers got away with it. So that's how a secret service scam, secret survey shopper scam works. Basically, moral of the story is if you receive a letter that has a check attached to it, be suspicious right off the bat. Right? It's a red flag. Nobody's sending out checks. So watch out for that. That's definitely a red flag. But be aware of these secret shopper scams, because they utilize that whole fake check scam. This is a fun one. It says you could evaluate at any of these stores. It lists a whole bunch of stores you could buy the gift cards from. Walgreens, Best Buy, Target, CVS, Rite Aid, Family Dollar, Kroger, Safeway, Dollar General, Walmart, Speedway, Albertsons. So they list a whole bunch of stores you could go to. In fact, I was in Best Buy the other day, and they actually had a warning hanging up at the checkout counter, an actual warning that said, be aware of gift card scams. I almost took a picture, but that was nice. At least there was something hanging up there that says, be aware of gift card scams. They're aware that people are being told to go to Best Buy and purchase gift cards, whether it's this type of scam or as a form of payment for all these other scams we've been talking about. So anyway, that's the last example of snail mail scam for this live stream. That's a secret shopper scam. Comes with a fake check. All right. How are we all doing out there? Rounding up on hour 4 here, getting to our last portions of our live stream. If you're just joining us, we do this live stream every week, every Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Our goal is to spread awareness of scams. So we just shared 20 different types of scams and showed a lot of examples of each, from text message examples, phone call recordings, email examples. And we just wrapped up the last portion that shows all these snail mail examples, because we're being targeted from every direction by scammers. It's important to be aware of that. Just because you receive it in the mail, it doesn't make it any more legit than if you received an email or text message saying the same thing. Scammers are getting more and more clever. It's important to be aware of the tactics they're using, what they're capable of, and the types of scams that are circulating. And that's why we do this here at Scam Aware 101. So take a moment, click that like button if you haven't. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed yet. We release the videos to help spread awareness, and the more likes we get, the more subscribers we get, the more YouTube shows our content. So we appreciate the likes and the subscribes. You can also join our free mailing list, our free email list, on scamaware101.com and click Join Mailing List. It's free to join. We won't spam you, and you can unsubscribe at any time. We just send out reminders about when we're going live and some useful scam awareness tips. It's a good way to keep in touch with our followers. And you could also follow us on your favorite social media platform. We're on Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. So ScamAware 101. We have links to each right on our homepage here. If you can't find us, just come to scamaware101.com, and right on our homepage, we got links to each platform. All right, so as usually the last portion of this live stream, what we're going to do is we're going to go check out the AARP Scam Awareness or Scam Tracking Map. If we get hit with a bunch of viewers suddenly, we could keep on going with some more things, but we'll probably wrap it up after Scam Tracking Map. And basically, you get access to this on our website, scamaware101.com, and under the Tools and Software page that we mentioned earlier, one of the last links at the bottom of the page, we have the AARP Scam Tracking Map. If you go to that link, it's a pretty cool service offered by AARP. And basically, it lets you track all the reports that are coming in of scams. And you could filter it by location. You could type keywords there to check by scam. As a funny little tool you could use to measure the scams that are becoming more popular and picking up steam. And it's also a cool tool you could use to see if you think you're being scammed. Maybe you could do a search here and see if other people reported the same type of scam. So anyway, this is the AARP Scam Tracker Map. And we're going to see what people are reporting here. Well, in this case, it already filled in Florida for me, but let me see if I could clear that. But this is a good example. You could fill in your your area, and it'll show you which scams are being reported here in the area. You know what? Why not? Let's see. Let's go with this. Why not? Let's see what's being reported here. First one, business imposter scam. Scammer claiming to be Amazon recruiter. Hello, I'm a recruiter at Amazon.com, and my name is Linda Johnson. All right, so that is a scam you have to watch out for. Is these job scams, employment scams, recruiter scams. We're gonna start covering those in the future. We have some examples to share of those scams, but you do have to be aware of job scams and employment scams. Always verify who you're actually talking with. Reach out directly to the company that's claiming to hire. There's also some pretty wild stories about human trafficking. True. You know, these human trafficking, people reply to these job offers over in Asia or Myanmar, and they actually end up getting there trafficked. So there's a real dark side to some of these scams and these recruitment scams. But anyway, yeah, watch out for job recruitment scams, business imposter scams. You know, always verify with the company that they're supposedly calling from. See if they're actually really reaching out to you. Family imposter scam. Phone call from bail bondsman alleging my relative informed me a relative ran over someone while texting. Yeah, there you go. It's a grandparent scam. We went over the grandparent scam earlier, right? It's when the scammer reaches out to a victim that claims to be a loved one that's been arrested for been in an accident and is in jail. So that one's being reported. So watch out for those. Elder scams and fraud. Elder scams and fraud. Let's see what this person says. All right, they didn't really give too many details. Just a strange call, somebody asking for information. So I guess the takeaway from that one is, regardless of the type of scam, if somebody reaches out to you directly and they start asking who you are, if they start asking you questions, that's a red flag. Right? If they're calling you, they should already have a reason to know what they're calling for. They shouldn't call up and say, I need you to give me this information. I need you to give me that information. It's just very suspicious. Let's see what else is being reported here. Gift card scams and fraud. Called offering a discount on our cable bill if we paid in full with Target gift cards. Hey, so maybe that's where that discount scam we were just talking about goes to. Maybe that one I played earlier, claimed to be from Comcast, was... Maybe the end game is to get me to buy gift cards, but you see somebody mention them here. And hey, that goes back to our red flags that we started off this live stream with, right? Gift cards are a strange form of payment, and they should be considered a red flag. They indicate you're talking to a scammer. Next report, text from EasyPass indicating that my service is going to be cut off. I don't click a link provided to pay outstanding debt. Yeah, I mean, that goes back to these unpaid toll scams that I went back to earlier. You know, they're impersonating EasyPass, SunPass, all these different toll services, and they're claiming there's unpaid toll. It looks like they're threatening to cut off some kind of service too now, which is just another thing you can add to their list of scare tactics. They'll claim to expire your registration or suspend your license. So watch out for these EasyPass unpaid toll scams. People are reporting them. But anyway, these were just in the Palm Beach area. Clear out the area, and here's the entire country. Just to give you an idea on the map. These are all the scams that are being reported throughout the country, which is pretty much everywhere. Which goes back to when it comes to these scams, there's no borders. You know, just because one state, there's no reason one state will be in target with a scam when everybody in all these states, they want to take everybody's money. It don't matter what state you're in. So, let's see. Government imposter scam receives an automated call. I owe $10,000 in back taxes. Yes, that's an example, right? Played these calls for you earlier. You gotta watch out for these back tax phone calls. Government imposter scam, text saying last day to pay toll. Yep, so I was reporting a toll scam again. Right after that, report I had a past due toll charge. Another report. See, so the toll scam, that's what I mentioned earlier. It's one of the most common scams circulating right now, these unpaid toll text messages. So important to be aware of. Inheritance scam. Letter. Yeah, so we showed the example of a letter. Here's another person getting the same type of inheritance scam from a law firm, in Canada, just like we showed you in our example. Other scam type. A PayPal imposter notified me of a charge, had a phone number to call, and I called. They said they were... Yeah, so that's a fake order notification scam. We shared that example earlier as well. You get these notifications, whether it's an email, a phone call, a text message. They claim an order was placed, and they connect you to a scammer when you go to dispute it. Very common scam. We went over that one in this live stream. We also have a video about that one too. It's a fake order notification scam. You can check that out on our YouTube channel. Another one, Amazon purchase confirmation call. That's a fake Amazon order. I think that's about it for now, but it gives you a good idea of what scams are circulating. It's fun to use this ARP tool. You see what other scams being reported by people. A lot of the scams that they mentioned are ones that we covered, and it's a good way to measure what type of scams are picking up and becoming more popular out there too. Hey Nigella, welcome to the chat. We're actually just getting wrapped up here. Now, let me show you some text message examples here. This is going to be the last little thing that we go over tonight. We're going to show some text message examples of just all the different scams that some of the different scams talked about, a couple scams we didn't. But they're all good examples to be aware of. It's only going to take a few minutes. As our last chance to give that like button a hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. And the last chance to spread awareness and help us out. You join our free email list, scamaware101.com. Join mailing list. All right, so some of these scams we already talked about earlier, but just as a quick review. We got the bank impersonation text message. Watch out for these. The text messages, they impersonate the bank, claim there's unusual activity under your account. In this example, it shows TD Bank. Watch out for these IRS impersonation scams. In this case, it says you're eligible for a $1,400 economic impact payment, but it actually links to a fake website. Notice that little instruction at the bottom too that says, please reply with yes. That's always the red flag. I see Nigella in a report saying 4 to 5 text message scams a day. They're just as much as email now. You need to watch out for these text message scams. Then we have the fake order scam. Went over this one earlier. This one impersonated Apple, saying that there was a payment from your account. But it's a fake order scam. If you call that number back, you'll actually be connected to a scammer. Here's an example of a wrong number scam. They pretend they had a wrong number, but then they try to continue talking with you. or at least how it starts. Which, by the way, we have videos on most of these. We have a video on the fake order scams, a video on the wrong number scams. So you can check out those videos later. They give more examples. All examples that we covered earlier in the live stream too, so you can share them with your loved ones, make them aware of those. These are all various text message scams. We got some more here. Here's the undeliverable package scam. We talked about those earlier. This has the link to a malicious website, and there's that instruction, right? Please reply with yes, that red flag we talked about. There's another version. This version has an attachment, an undeliverable package notification. It has like USPS's logo. But it's a scam. And here's some examples of these employment scams that was mentioned on the AARP website before. But here's one that impersonates TikTok Recruitment Center. At the end, of course, it has a WhatsApp number to call, and that's kind of a red flag. That's always a red flag. WhatsApp in general is a red flag. Then here's a second version of an employment scam. It's also impersonating a recruiter. This one says your resume was recommended to them. So people might have a resume out there, and they think, oh, wow, here's somebody replying to my resume. They must have got my phone number from that job website. But it's actually a scam. You know, they just got hit with a random text message, and yep, exactly. Now, Joe, wrong number scams usually end up evolving into romance scams or pig butchering scams. The wrong number portion is just a way to pull people in. And of course, we have the unpaid toll scam that's circulating now. And just to give you an idea of how many variations there are on the screen here, here's two versions of original variation. You know, one North Carolina toll services, one that says California toll services. But then you can see it evolve into Easy Drive MA impersonation, and it links to a .xin website. There's that red flag instruction that we keep seeing popping up on these scam messages, right? Where it says reply with yes and exit. That's always a red flag. Then here's one that says pay your fast track lane tolls, right? Because fast track is the California toll services. You start seeing dates getting added to these fake text messages. Pay by January 24th. This one links to .top website. They see another version, final warning, unpaid tolls. They start getting a little bit more threatening, right? Failure to pay may result in further penalties. And it has a date. Deadline, March 12th. Thanks for your cooperation. And here's another version. Toll roads notice of toll evasion. Do you have an unpaid toll bill? Pay within 12 hours or the late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. So they get like threatening. And this links to a .top website. They put the word SunPass in the website name to appear more convincing, but... And of course, there's a little instruction at the end. Please reply yes and exit, right? The big red flag. And the toll roads team wishes you a great day. At least they're polite, right? And these aren't all the different variations. There's so many variations of this unpaid toll text message going around. These were just many examples of a portion of them. So anyway, these are a bunch of text message examples, common scams. And some of these went into more detail earlier in the live stream. Some of these I have videos about. Hey, if you're still watching, let us know in the chat which ones you've experienced. You know, Jelly, you get 4 to 5 text message scams a day. What type of scams do you get? Which ones are you being targeted with? some key points to remember. Never open attachments that come through a text message or an email, anything unsolicited. If they try to send you an attachment, whether it's PDF or HTML file, don't trust it, don't open it. Don't click links that are in text messages. If a link's impersonating somebody, or a text message scam is impersonating somebody, just go to the official website. But don't trust the links. You can't trust the phone numbers either. Because a lot of these scams, like the fake order scams, their whole goal is to get you to call these phone numbers. Like the Apple impersonation, the fake order scam right here. It claims an payment was made under your Apple account or iCloud account. But the whole goal is to get you to call this number and be connected to a scammer. So you can't trust the phone numbers that come in these text messages. You can't trust the links that come in these text messages. Yeah, so Nigel is reporting, you usually get the 4 to 5 text message scams a day, mostly wrong number scams. All right, folks. Well, I think we're going to get this live stream wrapped up. I hope you found some of this information useful. Lots of examples. Last chance to click that like button, that thumbs up one more time to help us spread awareness. If you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also join our email list. It's free. It gives us a way to keep in touch with you. We don't abuse the privilege. We only send out reminders about our live streams and some useful scam awareness tips. We don't spam you or send you emails every single day. And you can always unsubscribe if you want. But take a moment, join our free mailing list, scamaware101.com. Click join mailing list. You could also follow us on our social media pages, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. We're at scamaware101 on all those social media platforms. And thank you for joining us this Thursday evening. Our goal is to spread awareness. We hope you learned something or gave you some useful information or reminders you could share with your friends, your loved ones. And yeah, that's the best we could do. Spread awareness. It takes a community, right? So thanks for your support. Again, join our free mailing list. If you want to donate some money, we have a donate button all the way at the bottom of our website here. Donate or support. You can click that. We always appreciate everything we can get. Follow us on social media and help share our content, spread awareness. So thank you again, everybody, for attending. Again, we do this every Thursday, so see you next week every Thursday. On that note, we'll talk to you next week. And as always, stay safe.